Hello, hello, hello. We have got, I think, only about 10 or so people listening right now, but thank you everyone for tuning in on such short notice. Um, yeah, I have figured out access on how to get the live timing data, even though the FIA said that you wouldn't get access to it. Here I am with the timing data. I've got it via the Barcelona circuit itself, which is pretty nice, but essentially, thank you all for tuning in. And yeah, I'll be doing coverage for pre-season testing. Of course, we're not going to have, the broadcast here to be able to see what the cars are actually doing, if anyone's spun or anything like that. But we will have, the numbers here, what the lap times are. And as you can see, Kimi Antonelli currently quickest of the times, 122.3. Yeah. All right. So, hello, yeah. To be honest with you guys, I woke up. Let's see, when did I call my friend? I called my friend 45 minutes ago to say, oh, I've just got access. And within the space of 45 minutes, I've set everything up and I have not prepared a thing because I was not expecting to actually go live today. But yeah, we'll figure it out. And, isn't this a shakedown, not a testing site? Yeah, okay. I guess it's probably the better way to describe it is a shakedown, but I don't know. I guess it's also preseason testing as well. Yeah. So, hello, Amy. Saw you're online. Switched along across to my favorite F1 channel. Well, very much is appreciated. Yeah. Do you have a Discord? I will be setting all of this stuff up. I have had a extremely busy off season, and hence haven't really got up to that much in terms of the YouTube side of things. I miss Yuki Tsunoda already. Yeah, it is very, very unfortunate to see him lose his seat. He was a pretty quick driver, but at the end of the day, when you're in the Red Bull team, you have those sort of just ruthless cutthroatedness, and yeah. All right. I thought you weren't going to stream this. Yes, in fact, I put a post out yesterday saying that I wasn't going to stream this because we weren't going to have data access. And then about 1 hour ago, I got data access by doing certain things and looking in the correct places. Yeah. Oh, what's this? Red flag. Oh, red flag. Someone's crashed. Okay, well, this is exciting. Gabriel Bortoletto, has just crashed in the Audi. The red flag has come out, as you can see here on the left-hand side of the screen. Red flag from race control. Gabriel Bortoletto has stopped on the circuit. We have no idea where he has stopped, but I have just started streaming, what was it, 3 minutes ago, and Bortoletto has already crashed. That is not a good... Well, okay, look, we don't even know how big the crash is. It could be that he's just put it in the gravel trap. It could be that he stopped on the side of the circuit because the car's broken. We have no idea of knowing. And unfortunately, we do not have the GPS data. That is one thing that we do not have. We have the timing data in terms of what sectors they're doing. You can see here, it looks like Bortoletto was in the first sector when he broke down, but I'm not 100% certain. So essentially what's going to happen now is we're going to have to go onto Twitter and find someone who is at the racetrack to send us a video of what happened. So brilliant. When did Audi and Cadillac join F1? They joined just this year, actually. Audi took over from the Sauber F1 team, and Cadillac are their own team altogether. F1 Gamer, you told us you had a job interview. How'd it go? It went pretty well, actually. And in fact, I've got a job interview tomorrow, and I also have one on Friday. And I had scheduled these in for tomorrow and Friday because I was like, oh, I'm not going to be streaming F1 because, obviously it's not... because preseason testing, I'm not going to have any data, so I'm going to have to figure that out. Apologies for the coughing there. I was just a little bit ill. Yeah, I'll have to see. I'm probably going to have to miss a bit of the streaming tomorrow and on Friday for my interviews. Okay. You'll be still streaming the Grand Prix. Oh yeah, I'll be still streaming the Grand Prix and stuff. Don't worry. Like after I get a job, it will still be all yeah. I'll still be streaming. Okay, we got 400 people tuning in. Thanks everyone for tuning in, folks. If you haven't hit the like button, as you always know, if you hit the like button at the start of the stream, it really helps out. Quick update for anyone that's just tuned in. Bortoleto has stopped on the circuit. We do not know if this is a crash. We do not know if this is an engine failure, if it's a driver mistake, but he's stopped on the side of the circuit. And the timer continues ticking down, of course. You can see there right at the top right, you can see how much time is remaining. That is 6 hours and 23 minutes left of the testing day, and the red flag does not pause that. Yeah. All right. What do you think of the liveries? I think the liveries are pretty. I mean, like, well, I don't know. The Ferrari livery, I quite like it. The Audi one is a little bit lackluster in terms of the number of sponsors that they've got on their car. And what else is there? The new Red Bull, I like it. Of course, it's a bit more like the Red Bull that Seb Vettel used to drive, and of course, he's my favourite driver. So, of course, I would sort of like that. And the Haas is very, very nice. They've done a great job with that one. And yeah. What else? Alpine's pretty similar. McLaren have got their all black shakedown livery, which is cool. But of course, they'll be running the papaya colours for the actual season. And yeah, what else has come out? I don't know. I guess the Aston Martin we'll probably see today. It's just all green, isn't it? Yeah. How has Isaac been doing in the Red Bull? I see him near the top. Well, you see, everyone, they are near the top, but the lap times that we were doing in Barcelona last year, in terms of the actual quali or something, was like the 1 minute 11s, 1 minute 12s, so about 10 seconds off that pace. Right now is not the drivers doing quali sims or anything like that. They are purely trying to make sure everything works, and clearly something on Bortoleto's car does not work, because he has just stopped on the side of the circuit. Yeah, let's see. Is there any update on what has happened to Bortoleto's car? No, not that what I can see on Twitter. There is nothing that I have found about what has happened to Bortoleto. Is it a crash? Is it a car stopped because of an issue? Yeah, let's see. Oh, Bortoletto's stopped on the circuit. Okay. Oh, we've got an image here. Okay. He is stopped, I think, at turn number 5. If I can, because right now I'm looking at this right on just Twitter, and it is from out in the bushes. Like, someone's got this mega zoom camera, and Bortoleto has stopped on the side of the track, I think at turn number 5, but it's not a crash, so I'd like to confirm Bortoleto has not crashed. There is an issue with his Audi, and hence we have stopped for the testing. Yeah, and that's why the red flag is out. That's why the thing's flashing there at the top. Thoughts on Williams being 30 kilograms overweight and fails to pass the crash test? Well, it is. I don't really know what to say, to be honest. It's not really good luck for the Williams. Of course, I had predicted last season that Williams were going to be the best team, the top team, but here they are. And apparently, the rumours say that they are 30 kilograms overweight, which is interesting to say the least. And failing the crash test is a bit of a surprise, really. Because, those two things go hand in hand. When you're trying to pass the crash test, you obviously need a relatively heavy sort of crash structure to make sure you can absorb all the forces. And the fact that they're overweight means that they are trying to reduce the weight of everything, reduce the structural integrity of things to bring the weight down. And clearly, it has resulted in that failure, if that is true. But of course, these are all rumours. We do not know. Someone asked about the interview that I was going to have with the Mercedes F1 engineer. That is still in the works. It's taken a little bit longer than expected to actually get that all organised. But I do also have 2 contacts within Williams as well. So I'm going to ask them. I'm sure they won't tell me a thing, but maybe they will. So I will ask them. Yeah. Hello, folks. We've got 700 people tuned into the live stream. Very much is appreciated. If you haven't hit the like button, be sure to do so. And we've got a red flag right now. Bortoletto's crashed. But as what you can see here, Liam Lawson quickest in the first sector. In the second sector, we've got Kimi Antonelli the quickest. And then in the third sector, we have Isaac Hadjar being the quickest driver. They've all come into the pits quite a few number of times. Here you can see Antonelli into the pits 3 times, Liam Lawson into the pits 5 times, Hadjar into the pits 4 times. But they're doing their work, and the big thing right now is they're trying to understand the tyres, because we've got a new set of tyres for 2026, which means that because they've got a new set of tyres, the strategists, the engineers are going to have to understand how these tyres work in different conditions. Right now you can see air temp is 9 degrees, track temp is 6 degrees, so that will be, that's very, very low for typical Formula 1 operating conditions, and that will be affecting things. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. All right. Do you have any place where you can see some footage? Well, there's no broadcasters there, so you're going to have to just go up onto Twitter and look through videos. Really, that is all I can say. What is the Cadillac color? I don't know. Cadillac haven't released their livery, But Bottas is out on... Oh, no, Cadillac did release something, I'm pretty sure. Bottas has done a few laps on the circuit. He's done 10 laps there, as you can see, just below Gabriel Bortoletto. So, I'm not sure. All right. Where is the account where you found the video of Bortoletto? I didn't find a video. It was just a still image of Bortoletto at turn 5. I think it was called Charles Leclerc something. Charles Leclerc fan page for real. And it's got an image of Bortoletto stopped on the circuit. It's black with a white Cadillac logo on the side. Yeah, they'll probably announce their full livery a little bit later on towards the start of the season. Bro, can you tell me which teams are taking part in this test? Well, as you can see, we have got the Mercedes team taking part. We have got the Visa Cash App Racing Bull teams taking part. We've got Red Bull also taking part. Alpine as well. Haas are taking part. So is Audi. So is Cadillac. Now, McLaren are not taking part today. They are taking part on... They're taking part tomorrow, essentially, but McLaren had some sort of delays. They claim to not have delays. They claim to be like, oh, no, we were planning to arrive on testing day number 2, which is total lies. So you can just sort of ignore that. McLaren had some delays, but they weren't that major, and they can still make it to the second day of testing, which is A-okay for them. And... Aston Martin should be taking part. I'm not 100% sure. Fernando Alonso has not come out and completed any laps. Neither has Lance Stroll. And Williams, of course, they are not making it to testing. They have failed the crash test, and they are also overweight, apparently. Okay. Does it really matter if they can run only 3 days anyway? Okay, well, they can only run 3 days anyway, that is correct, but they have 5 possible days to run, which means that what they should ideally do is run on day 1 of testing, then have an entire day to analyse all of the data, to work out what the issues are, then go out on testing day number 3 to do your next day of testing, then on Thursday have the entire day to analyse all the data again to see what you could do better, what is the best run plan for the next day, and then on Friday do your final day of testing. It doesn't make that much sense to compress it into Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, or Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, because, well, your engineers, you're going to get, these cars have over 20,000 sensors on them, and well, you're going to be getting a lot of data to process, and it makes no sense to get these engineers to do that overnight when you could just give them 1 day's break in between. And for that reason, yeah, I think McLaren are totally lying through their teeth when they say, oh yeah, we were planning to come on day 2 of testing. Nobody plans to come on the second day. Yeah. All right. Do you think Ferrari could win the Constructors' Championship this season? Well, they have made it to testing. I don't think they're taking part today. I think Ferrari also taking part a little bit later on in the test, so maybe tomorrow. But essentially, yeah, I think Ferrari. I mean, they have a good shot. There are so many sort of rumors swirling about the compression ratio of the compression ratio of the drive of the engines and things like that. And again, like, if you have a bit more engineering knowledge, it becomes obvious that this was just the media being very, very bored during the off season and having nothing else to talk about. So yeah. All right, been a while, bro. Nice to see you commentating again. Well, been a while for all of you guys. Hope you guys had a nice Christmas, had a nice New Year's. Of course, yeah, here we are on the, what is it, 26th of January. Bortoletto has made it back to the pits, apparently. Yeah, Bortoletto has entered the pits. It's just there on the, you can see here. Bortoletto has entered the pits. Yeah, so we should be getting underway for a green flag very, very shortly. Okay, which track is this for practice? This is Barcelona, as you can see up here at the top of the screen. It is Barcelona Shakedown, and yeah. All right. Is it possible to watch it live? Unless you are in Barcelona itself, it's going to be impossible to watch it live. It is a closed door event, so unless you've got a camera with a very big zoom on it, it is pretty unlikely that you're going to be able to watch it live. They're not letting people get even nearby the sort of the fences and stuff like that of the circuit. So yeah. F1 Gamer, what are you expecting from Williams, considering they started work on 2026 early? How has your view changed? Well, I was essentially expecting that Williams has designed a really good car, and then yeah, they were just going to put it together and they were going to go out and drive. I don't know exactly what else I can really expand on that, because I just thought that James Vowles was going to do a great job with the simulation work. Williams' upgrade packages were always working, which was always a good sign in terms of the fact that their simulations work properly. So I thought in 2026, they're going to design the car and job done, and they'll be on the circuit doing brilliantly. But clearly, somewhere in that process, things have gone drastically wrong for the Williams team, and yeah. F1 Gamer, you can change the theme and the colour of this data in the bottom right of the setting icon. Can the colours change my eyes? Yeah, well, let's see, actually. I don't know what colours. There's not really a... oh, okay. I guess I could do that. Yeah, okay. I think I'll do that for now. So you guys can read it a little bit better. Turn the cam off. Well, I guess there's nothing else here. There's none of these drivers have gone out on the circuit, so I'm just going to leave it on. No flying lap clip of Barcelona. That is a very good idea. Let me get the flying lap Barcelona clip. To be honest, I don't really remember where I saved it. So I must have it saved on my laptop, I think. But I cannot remember. Let me have a look, folks. But that's a good idea. I will be doing that. Right, let's see. Have I got the Barcelona data on my Barcelona lap time on my computer? I do have the Barcelona lap time. Right, not lap time, circuit. Where is it? Okay, how do I even do this again? I forgot. Okay, here we go. Alrighty, let's get a flying lap of the Barcelona circuit so you guys can see what that looks like, and then yeah, All right. Spain. Right, apologies for that. Right, let's just put this on top of my face for now. And we've got a flying lap of Barcelona. Probably I crashed somewhere here. Yeah. This is me crashing, but let's get on to the actual driving bit. So this is the Barcelona circuit, and you come out of the final corner and get a pretty nice exit onto the main straight. That's essentially your main goal here. And yeah, you're reaching speeds of 310, 315 kilometers per hour in these cars. Of course, these were the 2021 cars. The old ones, we'll see what these cars are doing. Of course, we have not, unfortunately, got any top speed data, which I would have loved to get, but no top speed data as of today. Maybe some of the Spanish police can go to the circuit and use their radar guns or whatever to see what the cars are doing. But as of right now, we've got no top speeds. And yeah, let's continue on with the flying lap. And you're essentially going through turns number 1 and 2, very long, sort of very smooth corners. You can take quite a bit of curve here, actually. Then you make your way through turns at number 3, super long corner, hurts your front left tyre quite a bit. And then you go towards turn number 4, which is a-okay. You know, it's you brake under the bridge and you hopefully stay on the track. And I think this turn number 5, from the image that I've seen, I think this is where Bortoleto had stopped on the circuit. But he's now back into the pits, so whatever issue that Bortoleto had, that is now clearly been sort of resolved. And it's not been resolved, he's been taken back to the pits, probably on a tractor. But we've got a green flag, and you can see here Isaac Hadjar is going out onto the circuit, who is in fact driving the Red Bull, which is quite nice because I've got the Red Bull car up here. You got turn number 9, pretty much easy flat in the older cars. We will see if it is easy flat in these newer cars. However, I think it's not going to be easy flat. I think it's going to be a little bit harder to go easy flat through that corner. So we'll just have to wait and see, really, till we get the onboards and things like that. Then you go wide out for turn number 10, and you make your way through the final sector of the circuit. Very long and windy corners. You haven't really got too many short corners, very slow speed, but the teams can sort of figure that stuff out without having to go through slow corners. And that's a lap of Barcelona, really. Yeah. Okay, let's get rid of that. I'll go through this a little bit more often as we get closer to the. I'll get through. What was it? I'm going to go through that a few more times throughout the rest of the day. But yeah, 6 hours remaining of testing. And what have I got to say? Valtteri Bottas will be starting with a grid penalty. You will be having a 5-place grid penalty to start out the season, which is interesting. It gets carried over from his previous race before he retired, or had a sabbatical, I guess. Isaac Hadjar, as you can see there, is now running on the circuit. And he is out on the track. We don't know exactly where, of course, on the track he is, but we'll be able to see when the lap times update of Sector 1, Sector 2, Sector 3, and maybe get a bit more of a representative idea. Last year's pole time was 1 minute 11.5. That is correct. And yeah, right now, the best lap times we have seen so far is a 1:22.3. You do have to take into account, of course, that the pole time was done in much hotter conditions. Right now, it is super cold. Track temperature is 6 degrees Celsius. And that is the coldest we've had. This is the coldest we have all season long. Pre-season testing in Barcelona is the coldest part of when Formula 1 cars run. So, I wouldn't really expect these lap times to be representative anyway. Right. Okay. Am I on Twitch too? Unfortunately not. I would have been streaming on Twitch for the actual Bahrain testing. However, I found out about this I found out that I could get access to this data about, what, 2 hours ago, maybe? Yeah, 2 hours ago. And for that reason, everything has been super duper rushed. To set everything up to get the live streams going, and I did a mic test to check my mic was working 10 minutes before I went live. I didn't even know if my mic was working. Yeah. Oh, ads are on. Yeah, let me fix that. Apologies, folks. Yeah. Has it started on TV? No. There will be no TV coverage for the Barcelona test. There will be coverage for the Bahrain test. Is this the multi-viewer app? No, it is not. Any idea on how they're getting the data since F1 is being so secretive? Well, I guess I'm also going to be secretive and not tell you how exactly I got it. But if you have seen this visual here before, if you look at other motorsports, you might be sort of up to date with what this visual is and how to get it. Are those origami swans? Indeed, they are. Yes, they were very kindly given to me by a friend. Yeah. Am I on for 6 hours? I will be streaming for 6 hours. I have not had any breakfast. I woke up about 8:30, and and then I saw, preseason testing's on. Let me check out what's going on YouTube, and found out that I could actually get access to the data. Spent about half an hour trying to figure out how to get access to the data, and then I went live. Yeah, so I have not even had any food. I've got some bananas here actually, which I'll probably have at some point. Yeah. Have you seen the McLaren shakedown livery? What's your opinion on it? I don't know. I think it's all right. It's pretty much all black, isn't it? Yeah, it's a shakedown livery that we're going to see for a week, and then we're not going to see anything of. I think maybe McLaren have got something to hide. All of the teams sort of do this. They sometimes go for a little bit more of a darker livery during preseason testing. I think Red Bull at one point had a camo livery to sort of try and hide what their tricks were. Clearly, their tricks weren't that good because they didn't win the season that year. But yeah. Are you gonna pull a suit out for the Australian Grand Prix? I don't think so. I'll have a think. But yeah, we'll see. I mean, it'd be pretty cool to wear a new suit. Oh, Isaac Hadjar just goes across the line. New overall best, a 121.0. Purple in Sector 1, purple in Sector 3. Once again, I would like to stress that these lap times do not mean much. But they are out on the track and they're doing some laps. Valtteri Bottas is also out on the track. You can see there, car number 77, currently in 7th position, in fact, with a lap time of a 1:31 being his best. So clearly he's driving pretty slowly. Okay, Hadjar domination by both fans, yeah. Any new changes on the track? No, we've got the same Barcelona circuit that we've had for all of the races beforehand, so nothing too different. Yeah. Is it only one car per team? Indeed, that is true, folks. That is true. So you cannot have Isaac Hadjar and Max Verstappen out at the same time. We've only got a singular driver from a team out on the circuit. So Liam Lawson just making his way out now onto the Racing Bull times. Isaac Hadjar now purple in Sector 2 and purple in Sector 3, and it's a 120.9. So another improvement there from Isaac Hadjar, goes about a tenth quicker than his previous lap. Now that, of course, the circuit's warming up maybe a little bit, and of course Isaac Hadjar getting used to his car and building up some more confidence. Protector of Sushi, thank you for joining the channel membership. Also, right up to the Grand Slam tier, very much is appreciated. Yeah, thank you. who is the engine supplier for Audi and Cadillac this year? Well, Cadillac are taking the Ferrari engines, and Audi are making their own. Audi know a thing or two about making motorsport engines. They've done it quite often in the World Endurance Series, World Endurance Championship, and yeah, they'll be a-okay, I think, with regards to making an engine. I don't know how reliable it will be, but they should be able to make an engine that matches the horsepower. Where is Aston Martin? I will try and figure that out for you, folks. I am not 100% certain Aston Martin are taking part today, but I will. I will have a check. Okay. F1 Gamer, they're skipping today. All right, thank you very much for the info. Yeah, I thought. I mean, yeah, the fact that we've already had 3 hours of testing, as you can see there on the top left, and Aston Martin haven't come out, means most likely that they are skipping testing for today. Okay. Alrighty then, we've got 2,000 people tuned in. Thanks everyone for tuning in. Also, if you guys are from India, then happy Republic Day. Yeah. Which country have sprints this year? Ooh, I think, what have we got? Singapore definitely has a sprint. I think Brazil has one. I think Kota has one. Miami and Silverstone also, but I can't remember for certain, to be honest. Yeah. All right. Zandvoort sprint also. Okay, well, there we go. Zandvoort sprint as well. Oh, Isaac Hadjar improves again. This time, Isaac Hadjar has set 4 personal best lap times in a row. As you can see there, a 121.0, a 120, a 120.9, a 120.5, and a 120.3. So clearly Red Bull have won the season. We might as well just, we might as well just stop streaming right now. Yeah, he's definitely cooking, Isaac Hadjar, but of course he's still 9 seconds off last year's pole time, so still a long, long way to go. Can teams only do 3 out of 5 days of testing? Maybe that's why some teams are skipping today. That is correct. The teams can only do 3 of 5 days of testing. However, in the ideal scenario, what would happen is a team would do testing on a Monday, analyze all the data on a Tuesday, testing on Wednesday, analyze all the data on Thursday, and then final day of testing on Friday and analyze it over the weekend, rather than having to compress your run plan and do less data analysis, because there is a lot of data coming through these cars. And, a lot of things for the engineers to learn. And ideally, if they don't have to spend if they can just learn over the course of, an extra day in between test days, that would be beneficial to them rather than having to compress everything overnight. So that is my sort of reasoning behind why, nobody should have planned to do, nobody should have planned to start testing on Tuesday. Everyone should have planned to start on Monday, and I think some people have just fell behind their deadlines, like McLaren, like Aston Martin, and like, of course, Williams as well. All right. Also a China sprint. Okay. Oh, there we go then. How does one become a chat moderator? I don't know. I sometimes pick chat moderators randomly, really. But I will have a think about it, because I think the streams are going to definitely get bigger and bigger as the season goes on. As the season goes on, yeah, as the channel gets bigger and things like that. So for that reason, we will we'll figure it out. Yeah. F1 Gamer, is this the new format we'll see every race? 12 cars, difficult to fit on the screen, plus the gap. No, this is just for pre-season testing, and in fact, this is just for Barcelona. For Bahrain pre-season testing, we will get all the data back up on the screen as normal. I will have to figure out how to get all 22 cars up on the screen, but we will have all 22 cars in the usual format for Bahrain. The reason why we are using this data for what's it called? Barcelona is because we don't have access to the normal data. Yeah. All right. Yeah, F1 Gamer, good to see you guys. Good to see you all as well, folks. I hope you're all had a brilliant winter. What did you guys get up to? I have been very much sort of bored, but also very busy as well. Yeah, a lot of stuff. Had exams and things like that, but they all went reasonably well. So pretty happy. Yeah, let me know, what did you guys get up to on the weekends, and did you get especially bored? Yeah. All right, so currently out on the circuit, we've got Isaac Hadjar, Liam Lawson, Esteban Ocon, and Valtteri Bottas. Yeah, Bottas has now set a lap time of 1:27.1, so still getting closer now. But of course, he needs to get a feel for the car. They want to slowly ramp things up to make sure everything works. And yeah, that's what they'll be doing. Okay, will Verstappen show up? Verstappen will. Actually, I don't think I have not heard if Red Bull are going to be doing. If Red Bull are going to be driving Isaac Hadjar for the entire day today. If from what I remember, what they did last year in preseason testing was they had Perez drive for the entire day, then Max drive for the entire day, and then they did a half day on the final day for each of the drivers. So I think it's going to be the same. Isaac Hadjar drives today. On the next day, the Red Bull test, which could be tomorrow, which could be Wednesday, Max Verstappen will be driving. And then on the final day, they will probably alternate the drivers in the 1 hour lunch break in between. Yeah. So we'll see. Will you stream every single race or miss one or two due to exams? No, I'll be able to. I've checked my exam timetable and I've checked my I checked the Formula One calendar, and I will be able to stream every race for this season. But tomorrow and on Friday, I do have job interviews, and well, yeah. So I'm gonna have to figure out what I'm gonna do for tomorrow and Friday. I'm definitely gonna go to the job interviews, but I just need to have a bit of a think. Am I going to keep the live stream on, and am I going to maybe start the live stream late or something like that? I don't know. We'll see. I think Ferrari, Aston Martin, and McLaren will be driving tomorrow. Since they are not out on the circuit already, they are not taking part in today's test, most likely. Okay. Will they use DRS here? Well, there's no DRS this year. It has officially been changed to overtake mode. I would have much preferred it to be called overdrive mode because that just sounds cooler. But yes, we will be having no DRS, and it will now be called overtake mode. So the teams will be testing that, and of course they've got their active error as well, which means that they can switch between high downforce levels and low downforce levels on their front wing and rear wing when they're going down the straights and when they're going through the corners. Yeah. All right. For realistic F1 rules, cover your swear words with a 50,000 fine. Yeah, I'm gonna. Anyone that no, it's all right. Okay. Will you stream tomorrow despite the job interview? I will. I will figure it out because the job interview is in the morning, so I can definitely stream the second half of testing. Maybe I'll start my stream and then do the job interview and then just come back, or maybe I'll just start the stream late. I will. I will figure out. Yeah. It's. I don't know. I didn't know I was streaming when I woke up this morning, to be honest. I only figured out about 2 hours ago. Yeah. Alrighty then. Yeah. Are the lap times going to change a lot? Yeah, they probably will. I mean, the track is not rubbered in whatsoever. The track temperature, as you can see there, is 6 degrees Celsius, so it's very, very cold. And the drivers have a lot of learning to do. And the teams, of course, will be running on very conservative engine modes for now, just to make sure all of the numbers look good as expected. Because, see, this is the thing, right? So let's say your engine can survive up to 120 degrees Celsius, for example, right? And your prediction is that if I am on engine mode 1, then the engine temperature will be 85 degrees. So what you do first is go on to engine mode 1 and you check, oh, is it 85 degrees? Because the thing is, you could go put it up on engine mode 10, the maximum engine mode, but then you exceed your maximum temperature for the engine and, totally destroy it. And that sets you back so much in the testing process. So it's much better to run in the lowest power engine mode, check, oh, I expect it to be 85 degrees Celsius. Is it 85 degrees Celsius? Yes, it is. Thumbs up. Then let's go to engine mode 2. Let's check. And that's sort of the slow build-up process that they're going to do on these cars to make sure everything is working as expected, because it's much better to detect an issue early on before it becomes catastrophic, rather than going all out straight away and then having issues that way. All right. Currently 9 seconds off last year's pole time. Yeah, I suspect the cars will be probably about, I don't even know, maybe 3 seconds slower, 2 seconds slower. It's difficult to really know. Where can you watch this live, or is it just the data that's released? Just the data is getting released, folks. There is no, there's no broadcast that you can watch. Alrighty. Yeah. Ooh. I'm gonna have to be careful of my throat and not talk too loudly, otherwise I am definitely going to destroy my throat. What's it going to be? It's going to be over 9 hours of testing, and 9 hours of testing and 5 days. That's going to be 45 hours of commentary. So clearly I've got to be a little bit careful on my throat to make sure it doesn't get destroyed by the end of today. McLaren released promo images of their car this morning. Can't really trust any team though. Yeah, no, of course. This is the thing. The Haas released promo images in 2022 of what their car would look like, and then it hit testing and it was totally different. They did the exact same this year. Their car, they released some images. Everyone went to analyze. Oh my God, this is what Haas is doing. This is what Ferrari's doing. Let's compare. And the Haas car turned out to be totally different. So yet again, preseason testing doesn't really matter. We'll see what happens in Australia Q3, but as of right now, the driver's doing the testing, and we'll get some more insights on things that we can see. What's your take on Nürburgring adjusting their opening race so Max could take part? Of course, Toto and AMG helped in that. I think it would be, I think that's pretty cool, I'm not at all surprised that happened. You do have to think it from the Nürburgring's perspective, right? You've got a huge audience in the form of Formula One, in the form of Max Verstappen, and you have the potential to, bring that huge audience, get them interested in GT3 racing, in the Nürburgring and things like that. Or you could just, ignore Max Verstappen. It makes a lot of sense to essentially say, let's go through this huge hassle of changing the dates, making everything awkward for a lot of people, to ensure that we can get this huge audience from Formula One coming in to watch what Max Verstappen does. So I think it makes sense from the Nürburgring's perspective, and I'm sure Max will be very happy to go and race at the Nürburgring 24 hours. Yeah. Winter testing with the new power units and new regulations is extremely important. We can't just take away too much from the timings. Yeah, of course, this is the thing. Testing, of course, will be important. It is just the timings is not important. Yeah, I probably should have clarified that one. McLaren without the orange looks more like Cadillac. Indeed, they do. Rumour is Aston is down to less than 10 kgs overweight. This is the thing, right, folks? So in terms of when you go about designing, this big complex engineering project, how it sort of works is that you have a sort of a basic concept design, something that you can draw on a whiteboard and say, oh, our engine is going to be this big, it's going to be this dimensions, and our exhaust pipe's going to go here, or our cooling system's going to go here. And then what you do is, based off the previous numbers that you have, from previous years of Formula One, or in Audi's case, what their other experience from other motorsports are, you come up with an estimate saying, oh, I think that this is going to be our weight for, the radiator cooling of our car, or for the carbon fiber, or for the rear wing, whatever it is. And they come up with these estimates, and then it is the job of the engineers to then design a part that can work in that weight category, in the dimensions that you need it to fit in the performance that it needs to fit in. So the things that you can sacrifice the weight a little bit at the start of the season, because you need to have, the correct amount of cooling for your engine. Otherwise, you're going to have overheating and, you're going to have reliability issues. You, again, need to have the dimensions to work as well. Otherwise, well, the aerodynamics is not going to work properly. So the thing that gets compromised the most is weight, particularly at new regulation cycles and things like that. And then slowly the teams look at their parts that they've designed, they work out, we've got this huge chunk of metal here, but realistically we don't really need that. And then they can shrink down the weight in every little bit of the car by a tiny amount, and then it all adds up. So that's normally how, the design processes of these things go, because you cannot compromise on the performance, you cannot compromise on the dimensions. So the one thing that does get compromised on is the weight, which can get fixed later. Yeah. All right. In terms of the interview with the Mercedes engine engineer, I am still in contact with him, and basically I sent him a list of questions, things that we were probably going to answer and ask him and things like that. And he's basically just getting them reviewed by the Mercedes F1 team. So, of course, he's got to check that, none of these questions are going too far and leaking things about the car or anything like that. And once those get checked and everything like that, then he can come onto the stream and things will be good. So it's sort of in that process of getting worked out. Yeah. So hopefully we can get him on the channel. Is it looking good for Red Bull, or is it just a fluke from testing? Well, look, we've only had 3 hours of testing, and I wouldn't read into this too much, to be honest. Yeah. Can you catch me up? I just joined. We have got 7 cars testing today. The only cars that are not testing are the Ferrari team, the Aston Martin team, and the Williams team. Oh, sorry, and the McLaren team as well. So we've only got 6 cars testing today. Wait, no, I definitely said that wrong. Oh, yeah, no, we've got 7 cars testing. For some reason, I thought we had 10 cars. So I was doing, we've got 7 cars on the track, so that means there must be 3 cars not on the track. But no, we've got 4 cars that are not on the track because we've got 11 teams. So yes, McLaren, Ferrari, Williams, Aston Martin are not taking part today, those 4 cars, and everyone else is out on the track. We have had 1 red flag so far, where Gabriel Bortoleto stopped on the circuit, probably, I think, at turn number 5, as far as what I could see from the images off Twitter. He's now back in the circuit. He has not come out on the circuit since, and whatever issue they've had, they've not been able to diagnose him and get him back out onto the track. Yeah. Okay. Am I American? No, I am from the UK. Yeah. Okay. Williams will be missing the session entirely. Yes, that is correct. So for the next 5 days, they're going to be testing in Barcelona. Not all of the teams will be testing for 5 days. The limit is you can only test on 3 out of the 5. So in an ideal scenario, you test on Monday, you test on Wednesday, you test on Friday. McLaren, Aston Martin, and Ferrari will have a compressed timeline. They will not be able to do the Monday, Wednesday, Friday, but Williams will not be taking part whatsoever because their car has failed the crash test and they are apparently overweight. Both of these things are apparently, we are not sure for certain, but regardless, yes, that is what the rumours are saying as of right now. Okay. Williams are doing virtual tests to make up for the running by running stress tests and stuff on the power unit. Yeah, I mean, they'll do whatever they can, but they could have run these virtual tests last week, and I'm almost certain that, Alpine and Haas, they will have been running these virtual tests last week on their cars to make sure everything is up to scratch before they actually go out onto the circuit. All right. Esteban Ocon just heads into the pit lane. He sets a new personal best lap time a few minutes ago of a 1 minute 25.000. Yeah, very nice from him. Where is testing taking place? It is taking place in Barcelona, the Circuit de Catalunya. Yeah. That's where it is, and the next test, where we'll have all of the normal data as it used to look like last season, that will be in Bahrain on the 11th of February, if I remember correctly. Yes. All right. Will we get to know how good the cars are? Not in today's test, really, especially on the first day of testing. The teams are checking out so many systems, making sure things work properly before they go out and do the proper running and things like that. So I was in fact reading Bernie Collins' book. I don't know if you guys know who Bernie Collins is, but essentially she is from Northern Ireland, and she worked in the McLaren strategy department, and then she worked in the Force India / Racing Point / Aston Martin strategy department. And now she's a presenter on Sky Sports. But she's got a book talking about, what her experiences were in Formula One and how preseason normally goes for the teams and things like that. And I was reading it yesterday, and essentially, what she was saying was that preseason testing, the numbers do not matter. It's more so the running. In fact, the number of laps that you can see here, you can see 34 laps for Isaac Hadjar, 29 laps for Liam Lawson. All of this lap count is the thing that matters the most, and that is essentially what they're looking to maximize. Yeah, lap counts are usually worth looking for. Yeah. All right. What are you currently studying? I'm studying mechanical engineering. And how am I earning through streaming? Through the adverts that are showing up, I think. I will probably block these adverts. I probably should have done that. But yeah, we've got 2,000 people watching. Thanks everyone for tuning in. I have totally forgot, in fact, to block the adverts on the stream. I've just been a little bit sort of out of it. But yes, Bernie Collins, she worked for Aston Martin, worked for Force India, and yeah, the book's actually quite interesting. So if anyone's sort of interested in that, I would recommend you guys. I'd recommend you guys have a read of it. I think it's called. Actually, I have no idea what it's called. But it's by Bernie Collins, and you should be able to find it. Bernie Collins Formula One book. What are the lap times differences between the 25 and these cars? Well, we don't know for certain, but it's supposed to be approximately 2 or 3 seconds. We're not 100% sure though. Okay. Any thoughts on the removal of Zandvoort and Imola from the F1 calendar? I mean, look, I would have preferred to have those circuits still on the calendar, but you do also have to admit it's pretty difficult to overtake around Zandvoort and Imola. If they got replaced by better circuits like or just, Formula One tracks that we like, for example, like Hockenheim, like the Nürburgring circuits, then that would have been great. But they have been replaced by other tracks that, maybe we're not the biggest fans of, like Miami or like Las Vegas. My nephew's just arrived in Indianapolis for the US F2000 testing, but it's a bit snowy. Yeah, I know that it is I know it's a little bit snowy, a little bit cold in some parts of America. Quite surprising. Am I ill? I'm a little bit ill. I was ill last week mainly, but you can maybe feel it in my throat a little bit, hear it in my throat. Yeah. Oh, this is the other thing that I wanted to talk about. Okay, so everyone's been saying, "Oh my God, the Mercedes power units are amazing. The power units are incredible, and they've got this loophole trick that's going to make them quicker than everyone else." And to be honest, that is most certainly, it's got an element of truth to it, but to be honest, I don't think it's all that much to be concerned about, because the difference, a lot of people have been talking about, oh, they have a compression ratio of 16 when it's cold, and then they have a compression ratio of 18 when it's hot. And, that is correct. That is, they probably do have that, but the fact that you've got to know is for the compression ratio to switch from 16 to 18 when the engine goes from 30 degrees Celsius to probably up to 250, 300 degrees Celsius in the actual combustion chamber itself and in the actual cylinder head, right? The height of the cylinder to increase the compression ratio, because that's essentially what you do. If you increase the height of the cylinder, you increase the compression ratio, and you have to increase the height of the cylinder by by the thickness of a piece of paper. So do I have a piece of paper here? No, I don't. But essentially, oh no, I do. Got this little post-it note here, right? So this post-it note, the thickness of this post-it note is how much you have to increase the height of the cylinder by when, to increase the compression ratio from 16 to 18. And considering that metals expand when they get hot, and of course the engine is going to be really hot, it's no real surprise that the compression ratio has gone up from 16 to 18. So I think the media were just very, very bored, and they're essentially, what they're doing is, at 30 degrees Celsius the engine is cold, and that means our cylinder is going to be, however many millimeters long, and then once the engine starts firing and it starts going in circles and you get the explosions happening at the top of the cylinder, that will heat up the cylinder. It will go up to probably 300, 400 degrees Celsius. That's going to warm up the cylinder. It's going to expand in length from this, like this, by the thickness of a sheet of paper, and you'll get your increasing compression ratio. So to be honest, it's not really a concern. All of the cars will be doing the same because all of them are made out of metal. Yeah. All right. So yeah, not too much of a concern. Oh, sorry. To increase compression, you increase cylinder height. Yeah, sorry. I meant to say piston. So you increase the piston height, you can keep the cylinder the same. But if the piston gets slightly bigger and slightly taller in length, then you can still increase your compression ratio. Apologies for that mistake there. F1 Gamer, do you plan to get into F1? Can you stream if you do? Well, that's the thing, folks. I will not be able to stream if I get a job in Formula 1. So, yeah, the channel's going pretty well, and I've decided to sort of put F1 to the side in terms of getting a job there. And, yeah, I will figure out something else to work. But, yeah, I'll carry on streaming. Ferrari making it out of steel, isn't the coefficient of thermal expansion lesser than aluminium, or am I tripping? No, you're correct. Ferrari making it out of steel, which has a lower expansion thermal coefficient of expansion than aluminium. So it doesn't, I don't know what Ferrari are doing, but there are things that you can do in the process of creating the steel to increase the direction that it will expand. So increase the amount it will expand in a certain direction. So you can have it, say, expand more in the vertical direction and less in the horizontal direction. However, yeah, I'm not totally certain. I've done a little bit of material science, but yeah, I'm not 100% certain on the details, but I know you can do that. But the same could be said for aluminium, I think, as well. So I don't really know what Ferrari are getting at. Do I have an Instagram page? I do. It is F1Gamer_official, I think. Yeah. Will we see at least an hour of live testing? Well, folks, we will not see, cars going around the racetrack or anything like that. I cannot show that footage to you because there is no broadcasters there. There's no, sort of F1 TV that have got their big cameras, recording the cars driving by or anything. It is just, some random people probably about 500 meters away from the racetrack with a really big zoom camera taking some images, taking some videos. Yeah, nothing official broadcast-wise. And if you do want to go see that, just hop onto Twitter, and I'm sure you'll be able to find a large variety of videos. In terms of the Bahrain preseason tests, they will be broadcast, so I will be streaming for those, and I will be showing you guys what's going on with all of the usual numbers rather than this new sort of setup. But yeah, that's sort of how it goes. So with limited fuel, the team who can convert the most renewable fuel into power will dominate. Yes, essentially that's what it does. Having a higher compression ratio allows you to get more power out of the fuel. And of course, if you can get more power out of the fuel, you can go quicker down the straights. Easy peasy. So that's sort of how it goes. Yeah. Some of the guys around the track are struggling with the Catalan police. Yes, that is correct. The police are being involved in sort of the security of the circuit and not allowing people to get close, I think. But don't quote me on that. Go ahead and do your own research if you are in Barcelona looking to go to the racetrack. Yeah, Kimi has just set at 20.7. So Kimi Antonelli, 4 personal best lap times in a row. So as you can see here, with the car getting lighter in terms of the fuel, Kimi's lap times are improving approximately a tenth or so, 2/10 or so per lap. And of course, the circuit's getting quicker. Kimi's tyres are getting hotter. He's getting more confident. So all of that contributes. But over the course of 4 laps, his lap time's gone down by 1 full second. Alrighty. So yeah, folks. Hope you guys are doing well. And yeah, what have you guys gone up to in the off season? I've been pretty bored. But let me know what you guys have been getting up to, and yeah. I just need to figure out a few things here on my laptop. Give me just a second. Okay. Yeah. Also, folks, if you haven't hit the like button, be sure to do so. I haven't got a like count or anything set up as of right now. I set this live stream up with probably, 15 minutes, 20 minutes from finding out that I have access to the data to going live. So, the like counter, the subscriber count will all come through shortly, probably for tomorrow. But it would very much be appreciated if you guys could hit the like button. Yeah. Do you know if F1 TV Pro will be broadcasting the tests in Bahrain in mid-February? Yes, they will. Yeah, they will be broadcasting the tests. Why did Cadillac struggle on the track at Silverstone? You don't really know if they're struggling or not. They have a little bit of testing time to drive around the circuit, get some preliminary data, make sure things work. But they definitely weren't pushing. I can tell you that. All right. I've been watching Formula 4 and Formula Regional in the Middle East. Oh, interesting. How do you get the data? By looking in the correct places to get access to it, to be honest. Yeah. Based on these laps, rank it just of testing. Based off 3 hours and 34 minutes of testing, rank all of these cars? Well, firstly, we've only got 7 cars out on the track, and well, the lap times rank themselves, don't they? You can see Isaac Hadjar is quickest out of all of them. Then we got Antonelli there in second, Liam Lawson third, Colapinto fourth, Ocon fifth, Gabriel Bortoleto sixth, and Valtteri Bottas seventh. Right. I don't think Audi will be good as much as it's hyped this season. Well, Audi have had some issues. So anyone that's just tuned in, folks, Audi have had issues with their engine. Gabriel Bortoleto was stopped on the side of the circuit approximately... Oh, I can actually see this. No, can't I? When was the red flag brought out? Gabriel Bortoleto was stopped on the side of the circuit approximately 50 minutes ago, and they got him back into the pits and everything, but he has not returned out onto the circuit since. So, F1 engine's a very complicated thing, but regardless, there has been some sort of issue there for Bortoleto, and he has not returned out onto the circuit. So it wasn't a simple, turn it off, turn it back on again, and everything will be okay. Maybe there's some things a little bit more wrong than they expected. And Bortoleto's still in the garage. P11 will get a point, question mark. No, that we will still have the same point scoring system of the top 10 scoring points. That will not get shifted. However, in Q1 and Q2, we may get it switched, so only 6 cars get knocked out in Q1, 6 cars get knocked out in Q2, so then we have still just a top 10 shootout for Q3. Esteban Ocon sets a personal best lap time of 124.5. Favourite livery till now, I have got to give it to the Red Bull, mainly because it looks like the Seb Vettel Red Bull with the shiny, glossy finish, and Seb Vettel is my favourite driver. Yeah. Use of the boost button will make it interesting. Yes, of course, that the overtake button, boost button, whatever you want to call it, it should make things a little bit more exciting. Also, Esteban Ocon has done 51 laps already. I'm pretty sure a race distance of Barcelona is just 47 laps or something. Barcelona F1 race laps. I can't actually remember. No, maybe it's a bit more for Barcelona. But either way, Esteban Ocon is... Oh, it's 66 laps. Okay. 66 laps for Barcelona. And Esteban Ocon is getting very close, actually, to completing an entire race distance. I think the first test in Bahrain will not be broadcast. The last one, the only hour, the second test. Yes, I did actually read that. So... maybe that's just F1 TV, because Sky Sports is broadcasting the entire day for Bahrain Test 1 and Test 2, from what I know. F1 TV, however, might only be doing the last hour for the first test and then the full day for the second test. So we will see. This is yet to be confirmed. Right. Valtteri Bottas coming out onto the circuit there with the Cadillac car. 17 laps under his belt as of right now. He'll be getting a grid penalty in Australia because it gets carried over from when he left Formula 1 in 2024. And The timing board has got a new look. Yes, I mean, this will be temporary just for the Barcelona preseason test, and then we will get the normal data back in time for when? For Bahrain test, yeah. Isn't Verstappen participating? Verstappen is participating. However, he will be driving most likely on Wednesday, if my logic is correct, and Isaac Hadjar will be driving today. So, yeah, if I remember correctly, what they did last year in 2025 Bahrain testing, they had Perez drive for the entire first day, then Verstappen drive for the entire second day, and then they had a half day between the drivers on the third day. So I think the same will be repeated here. Hadjar drives for the entire day 1, Verstappen drives for entire day 2, and then, on the third day, they'll do half and half. Okay, what types of tires do they have on? We have no way of knowing, unfortunately. Yeah, it is not ideal to say the least, but I think that they will be using the softest set of tires available to them, given that track temperature, as you can see down there, is 7 degrees Celsius. So it is very, very cold out in Barcelona. And for that reason, I suspect they'll be using the C5s, the C4s, to ensure that they can get them up to temperature quickly and not risk sort of having a crash because the tires were too cold and things like that. Okay. Are they bringing only one car per team for the shakedown? They can bring 2 cars, however, only one car can go out onto the racetrack. So some teams, with the bigger budgets, it's quite likely that Red Bull will have a car for Hadjar there at the circuit. They'll also have a car for Verstappen there at the circuit, and yeah, whereas maybe a smaller team like Esteban Ocon or like Haas or whatever, they will just have one car and then they'll be building maybe the second car. In the factory as of right now. So we'll see. In the past though, it's definitely happened where they've had 2 separate cars for the drivers because it just makes it easier for the mechanics rather than during the lunch break having to switch the seats, switch the pedals, to switch between one for the first driver and the second driver. They just get in the other car. Right. Yeah. Yeah. All right. I'll say P1 Stroll, P2 Perez, P3 Bottas. Fair enough. I don't know if that's gonna happen, but yeah, we'll see. We'll see. F1 game. What happened to Franco Colapinto? I don't know. I think he's still just in the garage. Maybe they've had some issues. He's only done 15 laps or so. So yeah, Bortoletto had issues and he's only done 27 laps. So clearly, I think Colapinto must have had some sort of issues. I am not 100% certain. Let's scroll down and see if there's anything. No, it's I don't have any sort of information on what's happened to Colapinto, but hasn't done that many laps. I am not watching it live. I'm just sort of commentating off the data and just talking about random things in Formula One. And the data is from a interesting location. You'll be able to find it if you look for it, but yeah, I'm not going to give it away because there are other people, of course, streaming on YouTube and things like that. And of course, if you just want to look at the numbers, you can just mute me and you can just look at the numbers whenever you feel like. An entire 3 days of testing is going to hurt. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty rough for, according to Reddit, the Alpine stopped on the track. All right, thank you very much, Fabrice143. So there we go. So we've had Alpine stop on the track, day 1 of testing. We have had Bortoletto stop on the track, day 1 of testing, and all of the other cars doing all right. Not that big of a surprise, really. Alpine, of course, they're making their own. Oh no, Alpine are using the Mercedes power unit. They're not making their own engine this year. They're using the Mercedes one. So interesting. Does that spell issues for the Mercedes team, or was it a gearbox problem that Alpine created, or was it a software issue? We do not know as of right now. We will never find out, really. I doubt they're going to tell the press, oh yes, the issue was because of the Mercedes power unit or anything like that. So yeah, we're of course left in the dark, but we can speculate, of course. And of course, Audi, that's their first time making a Formula One engine. It's very complicated, so many switches, so many dials, and yeah, not all that surprised that they've had some sort of issue. Okay. Also, why such few cars around on the track? No, how long will the testing session last? Well, you can see right there at the top right, it's 5 hours and 15 minutes of testing. And why there are only such few cars out on the track? Because one team can only run one car, and yeah, not everyone wants to go out onto the circuit because they've got other things to do, problems to fix, and setup changes to make. Yeah. I miss you, man. It's been a long break. Yeah, I mean, I have very much been getting bored on weekends. It's been nice, definitely on some occasions, actually being free to go and see some friends and things like that. But also, last weekend, like yeah, yesterday was Saturday, Sunday. I had absolutely nothing to do. Yeah. But no, good to be back. Good to be back. So I hope you guys are enjoying. And if you haven't hit the like button, folks, be sure to do so. Very much does help out the channel, as of course you guys will know. We have 2,500 people tuned into the coverage right now. I'm guessing most of you guys are listening to this at work or at school or something. But be sure to let me know what you're doing right now. Because I definitely remember last year in pre-season testing, most people would just have this on at work in the background. And listen to this while they're doing Excel or whatever. All right, 4 a.m. in bed. All right. F1 Gamer rate the revealed liveries. I think the Ferrari livery, I quite like it. The Haas is pretty good as well, and yeah, Red Bull as well. I'm not really too concerned about the liveries, to be honest. Sometimes they're good, sometimes they're not. But at the end of the day, we care about the speed of the cars, and yeah. Why was this the shortest break ever? Because Formula One is getting more and more busy and compressed as time goes on. Back in the day, there was only 16 races in the season. Now here we've got nearly double that, maybe 1.5 times more in the form of 24 races. And yeah, and to accommodate 24 races without huge amounts of double headers, triple headers, the season gets pushed into December. And then, of course, preseason testing with these new regulations, teams want to have testing time. The FIA have given them testing time, and yeah, they'll be taking part. So that's why we're starting early. All right. Are you going to stream for the next 5 hours too? Indeed, I will. I will probably have to go down, get some water, but yeah, just to make sure my throat is all right. But yeah, I will be streaming. F1 Gamer, I'm playing Assetto Corsa while listening to this. Oh, that's pretty cool, isn't it? All right, 5 cars out on the track. We've got Antonelli, Liam Lawson, Colapinto, Ocon, and Valtteri Bottas. Good to see him back, really. We're also going to have Sergio Perez back on the Formula One grid, which is great to have. And yeah, very, very nice. So, yeah, as of right now, Bottas just at a better lap time, 1:24.6, goes ahead of Gabriel Bortoleto. The circuit's warming up a little bit. Track temperature has increased by 1 degree Celsius. And, well, we're going to, yeah. Oh, we've got Franco Colapinto, personal best, 1:21.3. And, yeah, it's looking all right, really. They're about a second or so slower than Isaac Hadjar's best time. F1 Gamer, what do you think about the tyre selection? Mercedes, no mediums. Red Bull, no hards. Other teams, weird selections. Well, you see, the thing is, because we're here in Barcelona and the track temperature is so low, that is probably why they haven't got medium tyres, because it would be unfeasible to actually drive in them. It's just a little bit too risky in terms of the tyres being so cold and stuff like that. And for that reason, they will have just said, "Oh, we'll drive on the soft tyres for now, and then we will and we'll figure out the medium tyres and the hard tyres in Bahrain when we need to." Working in Florida, was so excited when I turned on the TV to pick on something for background noise, and bam, you were there. Welcome back. Well, thanks, Tracy. Very much is appreciated. Matt and Tommy are good, but I love F1 Gamer. Well, thank you very much, guys. No, in fact, Matt was the person that got me into Formula One. From Matt and Tommy in P1. I watched one of their videos back in 2018, and yeah, since then, I watched my first Formula One race, and well, lo and behold, here we are. Audi seems to be pushing for a strict 16:1 compression ratio rule. I wonder what the issues are, fuel octane and things like that. Yeah, that's the other thing. Of course, the fuel will affect things like that, and I don't know. It's a bit of an interesting one. I'm not going to say I'm an expert in internal combustion engines or anything like that, but what I will say is that these teams, they go through a design cycle, right? They say, oh, I'm going to have a 16 to 1 compression ratio. It's going to generate this much power, it's going to generate this much heat, and because it generates this much heat, I'm going to need a radiator that can cool off this much heat. Now, if suddenly you say, oh no, I'm actually going to have a compression ratio of 18 to 1, that is going to increase your horsepower quite dramatically. It is also going to increase the amount of heat that gets put into the engine quite dramatically. And then your radiators are too small and you've got to redesign your radiators. So Audi, they are supposedly one of the only teams that are at the weight limit as of right now, which is great. So from their perspective, they're like, oh, we don't want to increase the size of our radiators and then modify our engine and do all of these things because we're at the weight limit. So of course, from their side, they're saying like, oh, no, we should go strict 16 to 1 compression ratio. And that is sort of how it goes. But I'm not that certain that Audi are running a strict 16 to 1 because, again, with the thermal expansion of aluminium or of steel or whatever they're using, the compression ratio will increase a bit and they'll be leaving performance on the table if they don't use that thermal expansion. So we'll just have to see, really. Gives you the best quality time. I shall take you through a flying lap, folks. I shall take you through a flying lap. All right, where is this? Here we go. All right, flying lap of Barcelona. Let's skip forward. Here we go. All right, so this is the flying lap. You make your way through the final corner, and the lap time that we're looking here, we're expecting a 1 minute 11. That is approximately what we're looking for. According to what the drivers did in 2025. Of course, the driver's quite a bit slower as of right now. And Isaac Hadjar, 1 minute 19. First driver, in fact, who's just gone into the 1 minute 19. It's good to see there from Hadjar. And yeah, you make your way through the corners. I should probably actually commentate the circuit itself. So let me rewind a bit. Okay, so you're braking for turn number 1 here around about the 70 meter mark, but of course this is with the old cars, so we don't know. Maybe the braking's really good on these new cars because they're slightly lighter, but either way, driver's braking around the 70 meter mark through turns 1 and 2. You're flat through turn 2, again flat through turn 3. Depends though, is the downforce there in this year of cars? Is the horsepower too much for the downforce, and are the drivers going to accelerate too much before they get the downforce to actually stay in the corner? So we'll see in terms of that regard. This is turn 5. This is, I think, where Bortoletto stopped when he had his issue with his car. Then you go up towards turns number 6. And the chicane there for turn 7 is a little bit tricky to keep your car on the curb for, but you've got to do it because it does gain you quite a bit of lap time. Turn 9, easy flat, not too much of an issue in the old cars. Again, could be an issue for this year's cars. You got turn 10, relatively straightforward corner area. You got a nice little bit of banking as well, sort of helping you around the corner. And the final few corners, just smooth, easy right-handers really. Tap the brakes, flick it to the right, job done. And again, these final corners were flat last year in quali. Of course, with more fuel in the car, they're not going to be flat, but the drivers, they'll have to sort of figure it out in terms of how hard they can push in these new cars. Okay, it is most certainly too early to judge any of these new teams. These teams have, they've barely gone out and done any sort of running, so they will be learning things about the setup, they'll be learning things about every single aspect of the car right now, and then soon enough, you can start judging them in the second test of Bahrain. It's expected this generation will be 2 seconds slower. Yeah, around about 2 seconds slower. What's the issue with Williams this year? Apparently, so this is not confirmed, of course, but apparently they've failed the crash test of the cars. So, of course, there's you've got to make sure that if you crash at a certain force, it's not going to disintegrate and the drivers are going to be okay. And apparently they are also 30 kilograms overweight. And that is a big problem because the thing is, right, if you have an engine that's slightly down on horsepower, you'll be slightly slower in the straights, but you will still be good in the corners, right? But if you've got a car that is too heavy, you will be slow down the straights because you've got more weight to accelerate, to speed up. And then through the corners, you're also going to be slower because you've got more weight going to the left, going to the right, putting more load on the tires, using up the grip. Supposedly, though, the only team that is at the weight limit is Audi and everyone else is over. So we will see. Maybe Audi will have a really strong start to the regulations because they'll be the only team that's at the weight limit. But there is still time left, and yeah, there's still time left for these sort of for the weights to get brought down and things like that. So I wouldn't look into it too much. Isaac Hadjar is cooking. Yes, he's just gone down into the 1 minute 18s, a 1:18.8 from Isaac Hadjar in the Red Bull car, not the Racing Bulls, as I was about to say. And yeah, good to see there from him. That is still, of course, around 7 seconds off last year's pole time, but steps in the right direction for the Frenchman. Don't want to judge them yet, but it is concerning. Vowles was saying all these things about 2026 as well. That is true. That is true. I guess we'll see. Really, it is. It's always a difficult one. Maybe they've just designed a really good car. Maybe the aerodynamics is incredible, but yeah, if their car is overweight, they're going to be slow regardless. So there's still things to do. And also, there's another thing that I'd like to point out, that sometimes these teams, what they might do, for example, if they are going into preseason testing and they're designing some parts and things like that, and they know that they can make the part lighter, but they haven't just yet. So, for example, let's just take the radiators, for example. You could make the radiators lighter by using this special material or whatever it is, but, the special material hasn't arrived, and for that reason, you've got a slightly heavier radiator than you would have expected, but it does the job for testing, right? So it's okay for testing. We've still got nearly over, what is it? The first race in Australia is ages away. Let me just look at my calendar. The first race in Australia is on the 6th, or was on the 8th of Australia. 8th of March. Hence, they've got upwards of a month to come up with these fixes to manufacture new parts and things like that. So I wouldn't look into it too much. I wouldn't be too concerned as of yet. Of course, it's not a great sign to start off with, but here they are. Still got a month to figure these things out. And of course, you've got over 200, 300 engineers working at this for a month. That's a lot of man hours getting put into these projects. Do you think that could get it together before Bahrain? Oh yeah, I definitely think they'll be able to get it together before Bahrain. Bahrain is still 2 weeks away, and they'll be able to sort those things out. All right. For anyone watching. For anyone that is wondering how to watch this live, unfortunately you cannot watch it live. There is no sort of broadcast that's going on or anything like that. So the numbers are just all we've got to go off. We can see who's out on the circuit. You can see there at the top left, run. That means they're out on the track. And if they're in the pits, of course they're in the pits. But that's about it really. The only so this is it. Franco Colapinto back out onto the circuit. So supposedly Colapinto had stopped on the track, according to Reddit. I was not broadcasting at that time. I was not live. But essentially, yeah, Franco Colapinto is now back out onto the circuit. So whatever issue that Alpine had, that has been resolved, and he's back out onto the track. Gabriel Bortoleto, however, it has been, just over an hour and 10 minutes now since he stopped on the racetrack, and still no sign of the Audi returning back to the circuit. Okay, surely someone's live streaming down at the track. Well, you would think. However, I don't mind the ads right now, but they're 200% louder than your feed. I will try to increase my volume, actually. Give me just a second. And I will also block these adverts. Sorry, folks. I've just been... and maybe some of you can tell I'm pretty tired, but I will just increase the volume of my broadcast, hopefully. This doesn't have... Hopefully this isn't too bad. Okay, let me just pop up the volume. Let me know if the volume's good. So anyone that is listening, just be prepared. I'm not going to double the volume or anything like that crazy, but just let me know. And this should make things just sound a little bit better. Basically, over the off season, my laptop got corrupted, and I lost quite a few of my OBS settings and things like that. So this was all a very, very big rush to get everything set up. Yeah. How am I going to get access to this? Isn't this a closed test? It is a closed test. It is. However, this data isn't from Formula One. This is from the Barcelona circuit itself. So, yeah, go and the Barcelona circuit has got some, like, it uploads this data, and this is obviously where I'm getting it from. So it's not from F1 TV. It's not from multi-viewer or anything like that. Yeah. Bro looks 10 years older in 1 year. Yeah, I mean, that's probably because I haven't shaved. Yeah, because, again, I woke up and I was like, right, time to get streaming. Well, I'm hearing James Vowles hired Matt Harmon, the technical director who made the Alpine A52, to be overweight and also fail a crash test. Yeah, I mean, it's not a good look. I don't know if that is true for certain or not, but either way, like, the thing is, though, this person, whoever it was that apparently made the mistake at the Alpine team to, make them fail the crash test, make them overweight, you would have expected that person to sort of learn from the mistakes, not repeat the same thing again. So, maybe that's why James Vowles was like, I expect that this person is going to learn from their mistakes, not cause the same issues here again at Williams. But, we also don't know for certain, is this the same person that's actually in charge of this sort of stuff? Because in a team of over, 300 people, you're not 100% certain from the outside who is working on the crash test data and things like that. What are your thoughts on the RB22? Well, I think it's all right for now. As you can see, Isaac Hadjar purple in all three sectors, with 44 laps under his belt. He's just come into the pit lane, and so has Valtteri Bottas. And clearly they're having an all right time out on the circuit. So things are going well from there, because look, yet again, the numbers here on the right hand side of the screen, the best lap time, the most recent lap time, this is totally irrelevant. The most relevant number that you can see there is the number of laps completed. So 44 laps completed for Hadjar, 54 for Kimi Antonelli, 65 for Esteban Ocon. That's nearly an entire race distance. 66 laps is the length of a race. That is 300 kilometers around the Barcelona circuit, and Esteban Ocon is about to complete an entire race distance. Oh, Colapinto's stopped. Oh, okay. For a moment there, it said stopped. Colapinto is running slowly or stopped. Colapinto's resumed. Okay, so I don't know what's going on there. Liam Lawson also is running slowly or stopped. Let's see. Is he completely stopped on the circuit? That is interesting. What do you think about Red Bull's pace next season, considering they did a lot of development on Monza to try and get Max's fifth? It didn't pay off. They'll be, of course, a little bit behind, but you've got to remember that Red Bull is a very big team. So even if they do divert some resources to try and help Max win the 2025 season, they will still have a large majority of people still working on 2026. So it's not going to be as catastrophic as you imagine, because, at the end of the day, think of it back to 2021, right? What did Red Bull do when they were going toe-to-toe with Lewis Hamilton? And they were still upgrading parts right till the end of the season, and then 2022 happened, and it was all right, and they were clearly not that slow, were they? So I wouldn't be too concerned. But either way, it is correct. It seems like that Liam Lawson has stopped on the circuit. Yeah, but they haven't called a red flag or anything like that. So maybe he's just on limp home mode, because as you can see here at the bottom left, it is running slowly or stopped. So we're not certain. And maybe if he comes back into the pits, we'll know. But yeah. All right. Why do some teams not have a single lap yet? The reason why some teams don't have a single lap is because they're not doing their testing today. So McLaren and Aston Martin and Ferrari are not doing preseason testing today. They'll be driving most likely tomorrow, yeah. So that's why they've not done a single lap. Yeah. All right. Maybe an animal on the track. Not sure. Why waste a day? It's not that they're. Well, the thing is, the rule is that you only can take part in 3 out of the 5 days of testing. You can't test on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. You can only do 3 of those days. Ocon's just come into the pits. But Liam Lawson has stopped. Maybe he's stopped somewhere safe. Not 100% certain. But Antonelli's just into the pits as well. So clearly, I think what's happened here. There we go. Red flag has been deployed for Liam Lawson. Liam Lawson has stopped on the side of the circuit. All right. Where can I watch it? You can't. You can fly. You can get a ticket to Barcelona and you can watch it there. Otherwise, you can't watch it. Yeah. So instead of spamming my chat, you could probably buy a ticket to the Barcelona racetrack. And even then, the police are giving security and not letting people watch. Right, not gonna lie, we need Mr. Vettel back to get out of his retirement. Yeah. All right, let's. I'm gonna go on Twitter and see. I'm gonna see what happened to Liam Lawson because I'm sure there'll be someone on Twitter that will be that's already at the racetrack and has said what's happened to Liam Lawson. Let's see. Ooh. Oh, yeah, I'm just going to make it all red to make it very clear that we've got a red flag. Yeah, let me know what you think it is, guys. Is it that he's crashed? Is it an engine failure? Red flag for Liam Lawson as he's stopped on the side of the circuit, ladies and gents. Stopped on the side of the circuit. So there you go. So not a crash for Liam Lawson. Some sort of issue with his power unit. Okie dokes. It's an unofficial lunch right now, folks. So it has hit 12 p.m. We have had 4 hours of testing already. Most likely is that there'll be sort of, the drivers are all going to go get their lunch. The engineers are going to have their lunch. And then they are going to come out test in about an hour's time or so. Ford's first DNF, yeah. Look, folks, if you go on timing 71, it's this, like, I don't know exactly what it is, but timing 71, and then you needed the access URL for Barcelona-Catalunya. So if you can find that, then go ahead. I'm not sure if I'm meant to share it around or not, but either way, yeah, timing 71, and then the access code to Barcelona-Catalunya, and then you'll be able to look at the data. Get some breakfast. Yeah, I'm going to eat a banana. Give me just a sec. Yeah. Yeah, I thought Ford is reliable. Well, I think Toyota is definitely more reliable than Ford. I think Hondas are typically more reliable than Ford as well. So let's see. Apparently, Honda are down on horsepower. They said that their internal combustion engine plans are going slower than expected, but their electric part of the car is all A-OK, which is, I'm sure it'll be okay. However, one thing that I would like to say is that, what would I like to say? Yeah, the fact is that, yeah, they're, why would they come out and say that? Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Like, why would Honda say, oh yeah, we are actually down on horsepower and we don't think we're going to be as quick? Like, surely it's just playing games, because if you're doing badly, surely you just get on with making your car quicker rather than going to the media and saying, I think my car is going to be a little bit slower. Like, there's just no sort of need for that. So we shall see. Stream some racing games entertainment. I'll show you a lap of the circuit, folks. I will show you a lap of the circuit. Right, let's adjust this. Here we go. This is, in fact, just before I crash. Let's move this forward. Okay, here we go. This is starting a flying lap here in Barcelona. You come through the final corner, and you just want to, well, get a nice exit onto the start-finish straight. And of course, the previous year's cars were reaching approximately 320 kilometers per hour. This year's cars, we don't really know. So we do need someone with a radar gun to go out and measure the top speeds of these cars. And either way, you make your way through turn number 3. Easy flat in the old cars. Again, we do not know what it is like in these new cars. If someone is there at the racetrack, you can listen in and see if the cars are going full throttle. But of course, unfortunately, I'm not in my racetrack. As you can see, I'm in my bedroom. You make your way through turns number 5, and that's relatively straightforward as you go down the hill. Up through turn number 6, the curb there for turn 7, you've got to use it quite a bit, but of course now it's pre-season testing. The teams are going to be extremely safe with their cars. Turn 9 is normally easy flat. Again, we do not know if it is easy flat in these cars. And then you make your way through turns number 10, 11 and 12. All relatively straightforward. From now onwards, it's just right-handers, which means your front left tyre does feel a lot of pain, but again, it's pre-season testing. The teams have as many set of tyres as they would like, and it's not too much of a problem. What game is this? This is the F1 2021 game, actually. Yeah, it is. This was I recorded this lap before I bought the F1 25 game, so yeah, it's the F1 21 game. Hey F1 Gamer, long time, you're good. I am good. I was slightly ill last week, and I'm slightly lacking on sleep today. But apart from that, I've had a nice winter break. Had some exams, which went pretty well, so I'm happy about that. Got a job interview tomorrow and one on Friday, which I'm going to have to figure out what I'm going to do, because I was not actually intending on... I wasn't intending on streaming this week. I didn't think I'd actually have access to the data, but here we are, and I have got access to the data, so I will have to figure out what to do. But otherwise, things are going well, yeah. Do Loki sounds like Oscar Piastri? Maybe I do. Maybe slightly ill F1 Gamer sounds like Oscar Piastri. F1 Gamer, what do you think about the Marvel Rivals tournament? I don't know what Marvel Rivals is. I think it's some game, but yeah. I can still hear Max say, is Charles Catch game or not? Yeah. No, it was definitely a good race there in Abu Dhabi. I don't know if you guys saw, but in fact, during the stream itself, YouTube was telling me, oh, we've got 93,000 people watching. But YouTube does a recalculation at the end of, once the stream's finished and everything. And it actually updated to over 100,000 people watching, which was mega. So I thought that was really cool. And then, of course, the stream also hit 1 million views, which was crazy. So... yeah, that was very, very awesome. And yeah. No, Liam did not crash. He has stopped on the circuit because of his car. So yeah, that's what happened with Liam Lawson. Thoughts on Williams failing in the crash test 3 times? Yeah, it's not great, really. But of course, those are what the rumours are. We do not know for certain. And I guess we'll see. I guess we will see. Any thoughts on going full YouTube other than corporate? It would be pretty cool to do YouTube full time. But the thing is, right, it's just not very predictable. So last year, it was an incredible season. The channel nearly doubled in subscribers and things like that. But the other, the flip side of it is that in 2023, when Max won pretty much every single race, the channel was not doing that great. It was very, very boring for, fans alike. And I would not be able to sort of. It would not be very sort of predictable. So, of course, I hope that the 2026 season is good. But, if there is just one car that's winning every single race, then, a lot of people are going to get very bored very quickly. Yeah. So it is, it's up to you guys. Wait, what is it? It's not up to you guys, but I don't know. I'll sort of think about it. The more channel members we get, the more sort of sustainable it is. But I will see. I will see. Of course, it would be very cool to be a YouTuber. I think, in fact, that is now the most sort of dream to job. Like, if you ask like a 6-year-old, like, oh, what do you want to be when you're older? Instead of saying, astronaut or like fireman or whatever, most people say they want to be a YouTuber. So I guess I'm sort of living the dream. Yeah. Red Bull side pods are looking very interesting. Yeah, but we'll see. Like Red Bull, they've definitely done a lot of work, and you can see that it's not, a very bare bones design or anything like that. They have spent a significant amount of time developing the 2026 car as well. It's not like they focused all of their resources on 2025. Yeah. You're the biggest, I think, right now in this format. So, yes, I am the biggest right now. But who knows if that's gonna continue on for longer. So let's see. What role are you giving an interview for? I'd rather just not say, to be honest. There were quite a few questions that came through, but I'll sort of keep my professional life private. Even my name's private. You guys don't know my name, so we'll stick to the Formula One. Why the red flag? Because Liam Lawson stopped on the side of the circuit. That is why we've got a red flag. We've also got an unofficial lunch break, so we've got drivers and engineers going out to the hospitality, the catering area, and they'll be getting some of their lunch. Yeah. Also, which team do you support? Your favourite driver? I'm new to the channel. I support Sebastian Vettel, but of course he's no longer driving here. And so I don't really support anyone. But I don't know. It'll be. I think that Williams this year we're going to be really good. I've sort of been proven wrong by the fact that they haven't showed up to testing, but I guess we'll see. So yeah, that is. I'm not really supporting anyone, to put it that way. Yeah. What am I currently studying? I'm currently studying engineering. Mechanical engineering. Have you ever raced in real life? Unfortunately not. Arav, thanks for the donation. I just came back to see my favourite driver crash, Lawson. I don't think Lawson's crashed. I'm pretty sure he stopped on the side of the circuit, according to what I've seen. So there you go, folks. There you go. Yeah, Red Bull have supposedly got something like 0 pods. Who really knows? But yeah, he's just stopped on the side of the circuit. Okay. What type of F1 content do you generally make? Normally, I'm just sort of streaming, really. Doing the streams for pre-season testing, for practice sessions, for qualies, for races. All of that sort of stuff, to be honest. I haven't made that many videos. I keep saying I'm going to make videos and then I never get around to doing it. So that was, in fact, my New Year's resolution for 2026, to make some more videos rather than just streaming. So we'll see if I can get around to doing that. But of course, I'm sure, as you can imagine, doing an engineering degree is, quite time consuming. To be fair, Hadjar's put a bang on lap time. Maybe Red Bull is cooking. Yeah, maybe they are cooking. I would like to find out, though, who... I think it was Williams. No, Williams set the quickest lap time in pre-season testing last year. Yeah, I think Williams did. At least on one of the days, Williams were fastest. And clearly, as we saw, that does not mean that Williams were the quickest team in 2025. Any thoughts on doing WEC commentary? Well... I would love to do WEC commentary. Unfortunately, I don't know that much about WEC. So there's probably a lot to learn in terms of, being able to actually talk about it and things like that. But again, it's just a time sort of problem in terms of doing this engineering degree and then also streaming for all of these different things. So I guess we'll see. I guess we shall see. All right. Wasn't Williams skipping this test? Yes, they are. They are skipping the test. So essentially, their names are up here. Like where are they gone? Carlos Sainz's name's here, and Alex Albon's name's also here. But they are not actually taking part. It's just this system here. It has all of the drivers' names loaded in, because they. As a precautionary measure, just imagine, Williams passes all of its crash tests and they fly everything out to Barcelona tonight, and maybe they could go testing tomorrow. So. Yeah. If Max is doing the 24 hours, will you stream it? Ooh. Yeah, I might actually. I might. I don't know. It'll depend on obviously what day it is and things like that. But I would. That would be pretty cool. To just commentate about Max Verstappen doing the 24 hours in Nürburgring. I don't know how I would do a 24-hour stream. I guess I would just have to stay awake. Sort of self-explanatory, but yeah, that'll definitely be interesting. I mean, you sound pretty knowledgeable. You have a lot of subs. You should start like an analysis podcast or something. Well, that's the plan. In fact, on my phone, I have got the contact of a few engineers in Formula One, and the plan is to get a few of them on the channel, hand them a microphone, and then do a podcast. Barcelona is very close for me, 1 or 2 hours. I skip it this year. Yeah, I mean, the security around Barcelona is very, very tight. So even if you were there, it would be very unlikely that you would be able to see a lot. Let's put it that way. Can you share the website you can track this? Well, it's called Timing 71, and then you need to go find the right sort of link to put into Timing 71 to get access. I don't think I'm meant to share the link, so you can go and have a look yourself. I think the race after the Chinese Grand Prix. Oh, okay. The Chinese Grand Prix. That is a 3 a.m. race for me, I think, in terms of commentary. Let me check. The Chinese Grand Prix. Oh, no. It's a 7 a.m. commentary. So maybe I'll do it. Maybe I will. Do you watch any other sports besides F1? No. I mean, I think MotoGP is pretty cool. I myself have got a motorcycle. But yeah, that's what I was gonna. Yeah, so maybe some MotoGP. I might watch if it doesn't collide with Formula One, but that's about it really. I don't really know that much about MotoGP either. Any thoughts of doing commentary with someone else? It would be pretty cool, but I would quite like to do it in person, so the person sat next to me, rather than having it be over sort of Discord or a broadcast or whatever. So who knows? But I haven't really looked into it much, and I quite like commenting on my own. So yeah. When is testing going to start? Well, as you can see here, testing has already been live for 4 hours and 23 minutes. However, it is an unofficial lunch break, folks. So drivers are going to get lunch, engineers are going to get lunch, and I will also be eating a banana shortly for my lunch. Yeah. MotoGP is pretty cool. It will attract a bit more views if you start streaming it. Yeah, I think I would do it on a different channel because a lot of people here are interested in Formula One. I wouldn't want to sort of affect this channel because I'm doing MotoGP. But yeah, we can see your screen in the mirror behind you. Yeah, I know you. There's a mirror. You can see my hand moving. What are your plans for your hair? I quite like my hair, really. Yeah, so I think I'll keep it like this. All right. I appreciate that this isn't the most exhilarating commentary that you guys have ever seen. So I hope you guys are having a nice time listening along. It's not going to be, the most in-depth technical thing in the world because I haven't got any sort of slides or anything to show you. Do you ever go into the deeper technical analysis because of the engineering study? Yes. In fact, I was thinking about this yesterday, but I'm thinking about making a video about the fastest ever pit stop in theory. Like in theory, how quick could you make a pit stop happen? And I've got some sort of insider knowledge about how the teams practice their pit stops, what they do, and how they measure all of their sort of pit stop times and things like that. So yeah, I was thinking of making a video about that, thinking about making also a video about the compression ratios, but I think it's sort of very obvious. Well, I guess because I do engineering, it's obvious. But the compression ratio thing, like, as I said, probably, I don't know, 30 minutes ago or so, but the drivers, sorry, not the drivers, the engineers have to increase the thickness of the piston by a sheet of paper. Like, this is how thick, by the thickness of a sheet of paper is how much they have to increase the height of the piston by to go from a compression ratio of 16 to 18. And yeah, because metal expands when it gets hot, it's not really going to be much of a concern. And so I was going to make a video about that, but again, when all of that news was coming out, I had exams, so you know, it's difficult. Will you wear a banana suit to the Australian Grand Prix because you said that in Abu Dhabi? I said if Leclerc wins, I would wear a banana suit. So if Leclerc wins, then sure. I will also. I was planning to get a Seb Vettel. What's it called? Seb Vettel cardboard cutout and stick it over here. So might also be doing that. Will the compression trick affect reliability? It will, if the teams hadn't designed for it in basically, right? So if you've got a compression ratio of 16 to 1 and then you put some tricks together and get it up to 18 to 1, that's going to generate more power but also more heat. And if your radiators are not built to have this extra heat and to dissipate it off into the air and things like that, then you're going to have overheating, you're going to have reliability problems. But if you if you take that into account when you're doing your calculations for how much heat it's going to generate, how much things are going to expand under the heat stresses and things like that, then it'll be fine. Like, so I think the teams that didn't think of this initially and then are retroactively putting it in, we are going to add some more thermal expansion to our pistons to increase our compression ratio, they might have some more issues because they're going to have to redesign their radiators and things like that. And I think that's what Audi has done. That's where Audi is saying, oh no, we want a strict 16 to 1 compression ratio limit because their radiators are designed for a 16 to 1 engine ratio, 16 to 1 compression ratio engine. And if they switch from a 16 to 18, they're going to have to redesign the radiators, redesign the cooling loop on XYZ, which they don't want to do because they're already at the weight limit. So it's interesting. Do you think the 26 cars have a striking resemblance to 25? Yeah, they do. And it's mainly because of the front wing. The front wing's a lot smaller. Yeah. Have you got any F1 merch? I do. I have ordered some samples and stuff, and it's sat downstairs. And I've worn them quite a bit as well. So I will. I'll bring them. Maybe tomorrow's stream. Yeah. I've never heard so many Yeah, no, I do apologize. Oh well, look, I've just done it again. But no, essentially, I have not prepared whatsoever for this stream because I figured out I was streaming about 30 minutes before I went live or something. So yeah, essentially I had no time to do any research or anything like that. Otherwise, I would have had a list of things prepared to talk about and things to comment on and etc., etc. And for that reason, yeah, there's going to be quite a few ums and ahs in today's stream, which I do apologize for. Can you explain why does the downshifts this year sound closer to pre-hybrid era when in reality they're closer to Formula E? To be honest, I don't have a good answer for you guys about that one. And if I can figure out an answer, I will let you know. But I'm not exactly sure why the downshift sounds different. The other thing that I would like to talk about, I think a lot of people quite like the V10s and the V8s and all of these things because they screamed up to these huge RPM numbers, right? They screamed up to what, 20,000, 18,000 RPM, crazy high RPMs, and they sounded awesome. And I think there is a way to sort of emulate an element of this sound in the current cars that we've got right now. So because we go from, in the older cars, what would happen is, it's because the MGU-H was removed. Yeah, that is correct. Thanks, Burby Hunter. Yeah, the MGU-H has been removed, and that is the thing that allows the exhaust to flow freely, and hence giving it a better noise on the downshifts. What happened to Liam Lawson? He stopped on the side of the circuit. Yeah. And that's why we've got a red flag. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, so we would get the engines rev from approximately, I would say, 13,000 RPM all the way up to 18,000 RPM, or maybe even lower. You know, it'd start maybe even 11,000 RPM and then rev all the way up to 18. And then you'd get this really sort of high-pitched sound. And that is, I think, what everyone sort of really liked about the V10s, the V8s. That's what was the really cool bit. And with the current cars right now, because we've got 8 gears, the teams will only rev from, let's say, 10,000 RPM to 13,000 RPM because they've got 8 different gears that they can use. Whereas if they reduce the number of gears from 8 gears back down to 6 gears, then after you do an upshift, you would probably get dropped down to, let's say, 9,000 RPM, and then you'd go from 9,000 or 8,000 RPM all the way up to 13,000, which would not, obviously you're not screaming right up to the 18,000 RPM limit, but you would go from 8,000 to 13,000, which is still a 5,000 RPM improvement, which might give it a bit more of a high-pitched effect. I think I'm not explaining this very well because I haven't thought about it very often, but I think you guys can understand what I'm getting at, where you've got this, where you've got more of the, we've got a bigger difference from the low pitches to the high pitches to make it sound like it's, you know, screaming, and got that high pitched tone to it. But I'm not so sure if that would work. But the MGU-H was essentially like a muffler. Of course, you still do have the turbo that is blocking a bit of the exhaust to spin up the turbo, but the MGU-H was particularly bad for the engine noise and the exhaust note and things like that. So for that reason, getting rid of the MGU-H has given us a lot more sort of noise. All right. How long does it take to remove the car? I don't really know why it's taken so long, but it's also, I think, a bit of a lunch break. I think the marshals probably also get a lunch break. It makes sense, no? Because the marshals are going to be there all day, and they also need to have lunch at some point, so it makes sense that the marshals are on lunch break and Liam Lawson just got out the car and probably walked back to the pits or something. Yeah. No, he probably got out. Liam Lawson's not crashed. He has stopped on the side of the circuit with an issue on his car. Yeah. Alrighty. I'm gonna have this banana because I'm getting quite hungry, and yeah, hope you guys are doing well. Let me know what your predictions are, and yeah. Red Bull dominance. I mean, look, Isaac Hadjar has done 44 laps, purple in all 3 sectors, and is 2 seconds quicker than the competition. So maybe it is Red Bull domination. I guess we'll just have to wait and see. Wait nearly upwards of a month now. Upwards of a month and a half to the race in Australia. How is it possible for you to stream this data? Don't you expect F1 copyright issues? Every major F1 news site is quoting you. Really? Major F1 news sites are quoting you? That is pretty cool. Could you tell me which news sites they are that are quoting me? But no, it's not. There are no sort of copyright issues because, yet again, this is not anything official by Formula One management. This is purely by the Barcelona-Catalunya data. Hence, this means that, yeah, hence it's the Barcelona-Catalunya data, and because of that, Formula One can't do a thing. Yeah. All right, who caused a red flag? It is Liam Lawson, stopped on the side of the track. All right. Oh, I should probably get rid of this pinned message as well. Guess who found access to the data just 30 minutes ago? Also, folks, if you haven't hit the like button, be sure to do so. It goes a long way to helping out the channel, as I'm sure you guys already do know. And hopefully, I'll be streaming tomorrow as well. I'm gonna have to figure out what I'm gonna do. Let's have a think. Yeah, because I've got an interview tomorrow. Thankfully, this one's just on a computer, so I might just be able to go into a different room and do it, and then come back to stream. But yes, I'll have to have a think for that one. Have you played Motorsport Manager? Might be a good game to play on the side because this is going to take hours. Yeah, Motorsport Manager is actually quite fun. I didn't actually play that much though. I got the game. I probably played it for about a season or two, and then called it quits. Even then, it's quite a nice game. I would recommend. Do you watch Rally? I would love to actually, but I don't actually even know where to start. Like, I know there's the World Rally Championship, so WRC, but is that broadcast on TV? Do you just have to find a link somewhere on the internet? Like, yeah. What cars do even take part as well? Why the red flag stay out so long? Because it's a lunch break, guys. Lunch break. So we'll get the cars back out onto the track in about 25 minutes or so. Yeah. All the info I got this morning was the data wouldn't be available, so... Oh yeah, no, that's what I thought as well. The data wouldn't be available, so this is why I wasn't prepared to stream this week, and this is why I've got an interview tomorrow, because I was expecting not having to stream. But I got access to the data, and here we are. Can you put the time stats for your usual race weekend, this timing chart? I will. Well, the thing is, this hasn't got the race map. So that's the problem. It's all nice, it's all spread out and everything, which is great, but you don't have the map of where the cars are. So I would love to use this for the racetrack and for the normal race streams, but that's the downside. Yeah. Alright, is Ferrari using steel in their engine? Apparently they are. F1 Gamer, where are you doing engineering from? From the UK. I'm not gonna disclose which university I go to. But if you meet me at university, come along and say hello. Yeah. What are your thoughts on Arvid? I think he is. I think it's a little bit early for him to be joining Formula One, to be honest. His F2 season wasn't the greatest. There were some pretty glaring mistakes that he had made, but it's happened in the past where you bring up a rookie who maybe looked like they weren't ready, but then they can prove themselves in Formula One quite nicely. Ollie Behrman did that. He got his promotion up into Formula One for that one race where Carlos Sainz couldn't drive, and yeah, did a pretty solid job. So I think Behrman has shown that it can be done. So I guess they're taking that risk with Arvin Lindblad. The increased delta/RPM of the frequency gives us our brains interpret it as a higher note. That is correct. That is what I was trying to say a little bit earlier on. If you guys weren't tuned in, essentially I was saying that if you have a bigger shift from low revs to high revs, it makes you think that it's a higher RPM or a higher frequency, because you have this big shift, which could work, but I'm not 100% certain. All right. At F1 Fun for You, YT channel is showing your data. I shall have a look. If anyone is copying if they're taking my entire stream, then of course, then that's definitely not great. But if someone's just taking the data, then there's obviously nothing wrong with taking the data. Yeah. Let's see. No, I think of course someone else is commenting on F1 Fun for You, not me. So I think it's all right. Yeah. Obviously, this data isn't just mine. The data is from the Barcelona circuit. Jedi99, thanks for the donation, popping in on my lunch break to say welcome back. Very much is appreciated there, buddy. Yeah, welcome back to you guys. Hope you had a good new year and things like that. From what you've seen, is Ferrari genuinely a title contender this year, or there's still a hidden weakness? Well, I haven't seen the thing, really. Ferrari have not gone out onto the racetrack, so I really cannot tell you guys. I know you'd love to know, is Ferrari going to win this year? But I have as much clue as you guys. There's no way for me to know. How long is the lunch break? It is 1 hour. There is 20 minutes remaining of the lunch break. We've had 40 minutes already. Alright. F1 game, I don't like how their engine feels. Well, I don't know. If the engine can sound weird, but if it's quick, then does it matter? Among the crop of 2025 rookies, who do you think will end up with most championships? That's an interesting question. I think Bortoleto stands a pretty good shot, actually. Bortoleto is very quick, and his qualifying performances against Hulkenberg right from the start were very good, and I think that's the thing that impressed me the most. Antonelli, of course, potentially, could be in a championship-winning car this year. But I think Bortoleto, with his performance against Hulkenberg right from race number 1, I think that was the thing that maybe indicates to me that Bortoleto's got a lot of speed. Hadjar might break that Red Bull seat curse. Maybe. No, Hadjar, of course. I think it's a bit of a tough question, because all of the rookies last year were pretty good. Excluding Franco Colapinto. But, yeah, they were all very solid. So, again, this is the thing, right? If Daniel Ricciardo was placed in a championship-winning car, I think Daniel Ricciardo would have won a championship. But he was not placed in a championship-winning car, and unfortunately, he left Formula One without a championship to his name. He was a very quick driver, very good, but that's just how it goes. Ask Fernando Alonso, arguably one of the quickest drivers on average from the past 20 years, and only 3 championships to his name because he was not at the right team at the right time, and things didn't go his way. Do you think testing laps point to a new front runner, or is everyone still hiding their performance? Everyone is still definitely hiding their performance. Nobody is, nobody's gone out on a quali sim. Even Hadjar is in the 1:18s. That is, 6 seconds slower, or even more than what we had for pole last year. So, yeah. All right. Evan Gamer speaking on YouTube videos. I think it might be great to provide a day-wise summary for these tests. For the normal viewer who would hardly watch the whole thing. Yeah, that's definitely a good idea. But yeah, then again, what am I really going to say? Oh, I could make a 10-second video on it. I could be like, these 7 teams drove, and we had Lawson stop on the side of the track. We had Bortoleto stop on the side of the track, and so did Colapinto. These are the lap times. Don't pay attention to the lap times. Yeah. Why is everything red? Because we got a red flag, but I guess I could change that. Yeah, it's just we got a flashing red at the top to indicate a red flag, and of course here as well, red flag. What about the class of 19? I mean, Alex doesn't look good. He's gonna get a World Driver Championship. Lando did. Charles, George. Charles was a rookie in 2018. He drove with Sauber in 2018 and then went to Ferrari in 2019. But even then, no. It's, again, tough to say. Russell is a very quick driver, as we have seen all of last season. And then potentially he could be in a championship-winning car with the Mercedes doing well. Supposedly doing well according to the rumours. But I guess we'll just sort of have to see. I'd love to give you guys accurate answers, but I do not know. Hi, Lara, I missed you. Yeah, hi, Aaron. Hope you guys have had a nice winter. Any news on Lawson? Why is he still stopped? Lawson's probably made it back to the garage. Lawson has stopped on the circuit. What is this? Apparently attempting a standing start and anti-stall kicked in. Okay, I'm not 100% certain what happened, but either way, Lawson stopped on the side of the circuit. He's probably gone back to the pits and everything, and is having lunch right now. The reason why we still have a red flag, and the reason why he's still stopped on the circuit, is because the marshals have also gone to get lunch, and once they finish their lunch, they're going to go get the lorry, the tractor, whatever it is, and then pick up Lawson's car and go back and take it back to the garage. Yeah. I should probably put lunch break up on the screen, actually. That is correct. Let's... Here we go. Lunch break. Okay, let's pop that over there. Okay. Do you know which of the teams are running today, which teams are saving their days for later? Well, you can see the 7 teams that are running right now. They are, of course, up on the screen with the lap times, and McLaren, Ferrari, and Aston Martin will probably be running tomorrow. And, and Williams not running all weekend, all of this week. I don't really get what the point of spamming hi in the chat is, but okay. Which team do you think was best positioned to dominate under 2026? Well, I said that it would be Williams, but clearly that hasn't worked out. Aston Martin, I think Adrian Newey or someone from Aston Martin has come out and said that it's going to be a radical design for the Aston Martin car, whatever that means. We don't really know. But Honda have said that they're a little down on horsepower. Again, I don't know how much I really believe that. Then, well, you've got the usual suspects. Mercedes apparently have got a really good engine. Red Bull are looking pretty good today, but of course, that doesn't really mean much. They are still 6 seconds off the pace, and so it's difficult to tell. Why don't they have cameras there? Because it is a private test. The FIA or Formula One management, whatever it is, they decided that we're not going to have we're going to have a private test, we're going to have then 2 public tests, and then we're going to go to the first race of the season. So that's why what it is. Yeah. All right. What do you presume will be the drastic change in performance? Oscar had a steady downfall. Yeah, I mean, I think, I don't know, if you guys remember back to 2018 Hockenheim and that crash that Seb Vettel had, pains me to think about, really, as a Seb Vettel fan, but I think you could say that was the turning point in the 2018 season, from when it swung away from Seb Vettel and more towards Lewis Hamilton. And I think a very similar thing happened to Oscar Piastri. I think, that's probably the best way of putting it. What happened to Seb in 2018 Hockenheim is exactly the same thing that happened to Oscar Piastri in Baku when he had that crash, that anti-stall, then drop down into last position, then crash. I think that was the beginning of the end for him. All right. Is there a way to watch on TV? Unfortunately not, folks. Unfortunately not. You can only watch the race if you fly out to Barcelona and happen to have a very good zoom camera. Not the race, the test. F1 Gamer, how did you start with the channel and how do you come up with the idea? Well, I started the channel in lockdown, so during COVID and all of that stuff. And, well, it was great because I had huge amounts of free time to do whatever I wanted. And then I started doing live streams maybe a little bit later on. I had access to some data from my oldest live streams and things, and I was like, oh, I might as well do some commentary. No, I thought I might as well stream, and then someone in chat, their username was penguin something, I can't remember exactly, but they suggested that I should commentate like the Sky Sports guys do, and then I did. And then there were a load of people watching, and then I did the same for the entire 21 season, and of course the 2021 season was incredible, and it was as simple as that, really. And then I sort of got here, really, really unplanned. It's not like I found a gap in the market and then I made a YouTube channel to fit perfectly into that. Like I totally stumbled upon it via luck. But thanks for the question. Why not have both teammates test on the same day? They could. The problem is that the engineers then just have to go work on the car during their lunch break. They have to take off one driver's seat, put in the other driver's seat. They have to change the pedals. They have to probably change the setup back to its normal sort of baseline configuration. Then the driver can go out and change it however they want it. So just to avoid that hassle, they have one driver drive for the entire day, and then on the following day they'll have another driver drive. Other streamer copy your channel. Well, if you could let me know what the name of the channel is, then be sure to let me know if anyone is copying me. That'd very much be appreciated. Did Lawson crash? No, Lawson did not crash. He stopped on the side of the circuit. So yeah, it's just a bit of a hassle really for the mechanics to change it, and they get no real benefit out of it. Of course, there will be one driver that's sat on the sidelines. For example, Bottas is driving the car right now. Perez wants to get in the car. He wants to feel what it's like. But he can wait one day. It's not going to be the end of the world. So they just have one car driving. And the reason why they don't have two cars at the same time is because the rules for F1 testing say that you're only allowed to use one car per team. Okay. All right. Yeah, they changed the height, of course. They changed the pedals for the driver height, and of course the feel. The drivers, even if you're the exact same height, some drivers may prefer to have it a little bit closer to them, a little bit further away, and things like that. So it just depends on what the driver likes, and yeah, it's a bit of a hassle to change. The police have closed off the perimeter roads around the circuit. They're taking this way too seriously. Interesting. I don't know why they're doing that, but I guess F1 want them to do so. So yeah. Have you been? Anything good so far happen while the break? No, I had a nice break really. I had my exams go well. Yeah. I had a nice New Year's, nice Christmas. Keep this layout for the regular streams, folks. I know that a lot of you guys are actually liking this layout, but I don't know where I can put the live timing map. I know a lot of people want to see the jars going around the circuit. Where is this gonna fit? Because right now I've got my webcam here because half of the drivers aren't out on the circuit, but when they do go out onto the circuit and we have all 22 cars out on the track, where's the racing track gonna fit? Any news on Zhou and Shinoda? There was news on Zhou and Tsunoda on where they're driving, or where they're being a reserve driver, but I do not know for certain. So I'm not going to say anything. I will figure it out, and I will get back to you guys. But I'm sure if you just Google it, it should come up. If you search Zhou reserve driver, it'll probably say he's a reserve driver for Ferrari. He was, at least last year, as far as I remember. Maybe you'll have switched. Zhou's for Cadillac. Okay, and then Yuki is the Red Bull reserve. Brilliant. Thanks for the information, guys. As I said, the YouTuber that copies you, F1 Tactical Rab. Okay, I shall have a look. But I think they have also just found a way to get access to the data rather than copying my stream directly. But I will. I'll double check. I don't think anyone else is streaming so much, really. Yeah, not too much of a concern, to be honest. All right, your thoughts on 11th team on the grid? Yeah, I think having an 11th team on the grid is a good idea. Why not? You know, more cars, more action, more good news for us fans. Any possible mid-season driver shift? Yeah, I mean, there could be. Most likely from the Red Bull team, depending on how Hadjar does. But the thing is, who are they going to replace Hadjar with if Hadjar's performing badly? Makes no sense to me. So let's see. Where do you watch testing? Unfortunately, you can't, folks. Unfortunately, all you've got is the numbers here to go off, and an F1 Gamer podcast session. That's all I'm doing. So, yeah. Best driver lineup in your opinion? Okay, that's a good one. Okay, folks, let me know who in the chat. Who do you think is the best? Who do you think? Which team has the best driver lineup? Why are the 2026 cars so slow? The lap record in 25 was 111. Now they're doing 118s. Why is that? It's because it's preseason testing. If you go and look at the preseason testing times for Bahrain in 2025, and then you look at the quali times in Bahrain, there's quite a big difference. And the exact same reason is, the exact same thing is causing the lap times to be slow today. Okay. A lot of people saying Ferrari. Okay, Ferrari, Charles Leclerc, Lewis Hamilton. Makes sense. If Hamilton can perform and deliver, of course. Hamilton looks happy, so, maybe it's a step in the right direction. Williams, they have got Carlos Sainz, who is a really good driver, as we know, can go toe-to-toe with Charles Leclerc. Alex Albon has done pretty well. However, Sainz is the one that got the podiums with Williams last year, and Albon was struggling a little bit more. So that's definitely a strong team. I'm not going to say that they're weak by any stretch of the imagination, but if we're comparing Williams versus Ferrari, Carlos Sainz, Charles Leclerc about equal to each other in terms of points that they've scored when they were teammates. And then, is the lunch break finished? Well, look, if it still says lunch break on the screen, why would it be finished? So is Alexander Albon better than Lewis Hamilton at this current moment in time? Cadillac, of course, yes. They've got so much experience. Valtteri Bottas, brilliant driver. Sergio Perez as well, very, very good. So that's a pretty strong lineup. McLaren, of course, they've got Lando Norris, the world champion, and Piastri. I think Piastri this year is gonna be absolutely locked in. Who knows? A better comparison of the testing lap times will be 2022 at Bahrain Barcelona. That is good, actually. Thanks, Nicky Lauda, F1 Racing. I'll go look up those lap times and just verbally sort of explain to you guys how big the difference was. Okay. Apparently Williams is 30 kg overweight, failed the crash test. Yeah, we've heard that quite a few times, but let's wait and see. What channel do you check for Twitter for the latest news? Normally there are quite a few sort of reliable sources like Chris Medland and The Race and things like that, but we don't really know. Yeah. Why are so many not coming out? Because we're on the lunch break right now. That's what I'm saying, folks. We've got 47 seconds left of the lunch break, and then theoretically the drivers could go out straight away. But the engineers might still want to have some lunch. So who knows? How does a team supposedly so focused on 2026 so overweight? I think it's the same set of drivers. Do you think it'll be the same? Okay, well, see, the design process of a Formula One car is a hugely complex task, and Williams may be 30 kilograms overweight right now. However, we don't really know. Ferrari, for all we know, could have been 30 kilograms overweight 2 weeks ago. And the world of Formula One means that they have extremely rapid prototype cycles. So they will prototype something, and within 2 weeks it'll be manufactured, tested, then fitted to the car, and then they'll go and they'll do some running and things like that. So Williams right now is behind on their weight limits, on their crash tests and things like that. But the thing is that they have got approximately 6 weeks till we get to Australia to find this 30 kilograms. And there are so many different components in these cars that, you can knock off 50 grams in all of those different small components and you'll still be able to get to the 30 kilogram weight reduction. But it is just a tough one, really. So I don't know how they've managed to do that. Maybe there was sort of a prioritization of the wrong thing at the wrong time. But it's tough to say, really. It is very, very tough to say. Why does it say stop? Because Lawson is stopped on the side of the circuit. So now the lunch break is over. So supposedly, I think the marshals now will be making their way towards getting Liam Lawson's car. But again, I've got no footage here. So I cannot tell you for certain what's going to happen. I can only tell you what I think is going to happen. Will Hulkenberg bankrupt Audi like Raikkonen did? Well, maybe you will. I think Audi have got some pretty deep pockets, though. And if so happens that Audi have got a championship-winning car and Hulkenberg's there scoring loads of points every single time, then maybe they will. This is according to supposedly that what is it? Hulkenberg has got a clause in his contract that says, every point you score, you'll earn 50,000 euro or something like that. But I guess we'll see. Okay. Right. Looks like Red Bull's got a good car. Well, they're just top of the timings right now. We cannot tell for certain. But yeah, as of right now, they've done some running. They haven't had issues with the power unit. However, Liam Lawson has, and they're, of course, using the same power unit. It will be the Red Bull Ford power unit combination. And, if Liam Lawson's had issues, that also spells trouble for the Red Bull team. Yeah. Alrighty. Is McLaren any good? Well, McLaren haven't made it to the test on time. They are taking part tomorrow. They could have taken part today, but they decided not to. Most likely because they were behind on their schedule to get the car ready. So take of that what you will, but at least, they're testing on Tuesday. So they should be okay. I guess we'll see. They've got their new shakedown livery, which is completely black. So we'll see how it goes. All right. What do you think about the Audi F1 team? I think they'll be pretty good, to be honest. I think they'll have their own engine. But Bortoleto still hasn't come out, actually. So, it was over 3 hours ago, maybe now? Yes, over 2.5 hours ago, Gabriel Bortoleto stopped on the side of the circuit because of issues with his car. And he has not returned out onto the track since. Okay. How do you rate the McLaren Stealth Mode livery from 1 to 10? I don't know, 5. Like, we're not going to see it particularly often. Maybe they're trying to hide something. I guess we'll see. Audi might be screwed, but I think they're not overweight. Yes, they are. They are probably not overweight. F1 Gamer, have you watched Solo Leveling? I No, I don't know what solo leveling is. Bro, I'm quite curious. Where do you get all this data from? As far as I know, this shakedown is completely private. Yeah, the data is from the Barcelona circuit itself. It's not from the. It's not from Formula One management. You know, normally, we've got multi-viewer and we've got all the data coming through F1 TV. It is not through there. It is through the Barcelona circuit itself. So there we go. Maybe we will have some drivers switch around for the lunchtime break. So we could have potentially George Russell driving in the second half of today. We could also have, Ollie Behrman driving for the second half. It's yet to be confirmed, so we shall see. Or at least I'm yet to know. Are they still on break? Yes, they are still on lunch break. Well, I don't know. The lunch break was supposed to end 5 minutes ago, and they were supposed to go pick up Liam Lawson's car and take it up back to the pit, so then we could go running again. But we do not know. I wish I had what's it called? I wish I had a drone or something flying over the circuit to be able to know. But yeah, unfortunately, no idea. I found the data easy, great PDF files. Yeah, I mean, it's not too difficult to find the data. You just got to know where to look. I'm just not going to tell you guys directly because I don't know if I should. Yeah. From the circuit itself, do all circuits do this? Not that I don't really know. I only found out that you could get data from the circuit itself this morning. So take of that what you will. Yeah. What are the tires? We do not know. We again because the data is from the circuit, not from Formula One. The circuit doesn't care what tyres you're on. Formula One cares what tyres you're on because you've got rules about things and this and that, but the circuit doesn't care. So yeah, we have no way of knowing what tyres any of these drivers are using. F1 game. I'm also studying mechanical engineering. I find machine design the most complex. Any advice for your juniors? Well, I haven't finished my degree yet, so I don't know if I'm in the position to give advice, but I guess sort of just got to keep trying, really. Yeah, I mean that's normally what I end up doing. Sitting in the library for ages, like figuring stuff out, try to apply it to real world problems and stuff like that. But yeah. Right. Is lunch still going? No circuit map. Yeah, again, because the circuit does not care about the circuit map. The circuit just needs to know what the sector times are, and the Formula One manages the GPS, and that's probably why the GPS is glitch out so much. So yeah. So I wouldn't worry about it too much. In fact, the cars will be fitted with their own GPS sensors rather than the official Formula One GPS sensors. Just to make sure that the teams can't spy on each other. I think that's what's going to happen, actually. Yeah, that might be what happens. The teams will have their own GPS data, and they will not share that with other teams, potentially. Where are you from? Well, I was originally born in India, but right now I live in the UK, as you can tell by my accent. Yeah. Alrighty. Yeah, British in it. Yeah, yeah. Are you at university right now? Indeed, I am. Okay. I'm gonna have some water. Yeah. When will F1 return to India? Well, I don't really know. Are they going to have to find the money to bring F1 over? I'm sure F1 would love to have a race there as long as they can get enough money. I think F1 really cares about the money side of things, let's put it that way. Yeah. But the racetrack in India is pretty good. Of course, Seb Vettel, my favourite driver, has won every single race there. So I guess if they were to go back to India, they would... that record would be broken, which is a bit unfortunate, but who knows. I have high expectations for Ferrari to get a new meme. The 2025 water meme was a high benchmark. Yeah, that's pretty good. No, I'm sure we'll be getting more Ferrari memes. But Riccardo Adami, I think that's what his name is. He is no longer a race engineer at Ferrari, so I think Lewis Hamilton's getting a different race engineer, which is a good start for him because, of course, I don't think their relationship in 2025 was all that great. So, bit of a fresh start. I think Lewis needed that, so who knows? Have you ever seen a Grand Prix in person? I haven't actually. I would quite like to go to it at some point, but yeah, I have. I've only been watching them online, to be honest, rather than going in person. It would be pretty cool to watch Spa. Actually, I think Spa would be a nice race to watch, but I guess we'll have to see. I like Merck and Red Bull in dominating position. Good for Hamilton and Adami's leaving. Yeah, and we'll see if Merck and Red Bull do well. But currently, of course, they're first and second position on the timing screen. I heard that they're trying to poach a McLaren engineer. Might be Tom Stallard as Lando and one of the best driver engineers pairing. Yeah, we will. It's quite interesting actually how they sort of swap people around, try to steal people from other teams and things like that. But I guess we'll have to see. Both Seb and Carlos had to deal with Adami. Yeah, I mean, there were some very interesting radio messages. What was it? Was it 2019? I think it was 2019 or maybe 2020. Seb was driving in Barcelona, actually, and he was essentially trying to hold on to P2, I think, and he basically had to tell Adami, oh, do this calculation, then tell me what lap time I need to be able to win this race, which is a little bit embarrassing, really, that the driver's telling the engineer, oh, do this, do that, and then Carlos Sainz, of course, we've had the famous, stop inventing quote from him when his engineer is trying to do too much and just doing the entirely wrong thing, so who knows. It will be good to have Formula One go to a few other circuits as well. It'd be good to have Spa, good to have Hockenheim, good to have Malaysia. Where else? India would be good. Maybe a few actual racetracks in America rather than Vegas and Miami. Who knows? It was 2020, 40 laps on cheese grater softs. Yes, that's what it was. Thank you for remembering that, Barney172. Where are you live now? We go to see one this season, leaving the live commentary? I think I'll carry on with the live commentary. I will go to a Formula 1 race at some point, but for now, the live commentary is going well. A lot of people tune in. So, I sort of feel it's a bit of my duty to carry on commentating. Still lunch, yeah, I don't know. It has now been 15 minutes since lunchtime was supposed to have ended, but we've still got a red flag, and Liam Lawson's car has not been picked up. Yeah, these F1 people eat a bunch. Yeah, I mean, you might as well. There wasn't really going to be that much running done today. Who knows, though? Who knows? Oh yeah, the South Africa track, the race in Istanbul also is brilliant. We're also going back to the Algarve. The race in Portugal is a mega racetrack. So I would, yeah, it's pretty good. It's pretty solid if we could go to those race circuits rather than the boring ones like Miami or Las Vegas. You should commentate on the official Formula One. Well, I'd love to, but I just don't think I'm going to get a job at the official F1, to be honest. Also, I think that this commentary is quite nice in the way that it's more relaxed. I can just say, sort of whatever I want. I can make jokes about whichever driver without serious repercussions. Whereas, of course, if I was on the official F1 broadcast, there'd be certain things that I'm not allowed to say and whatever, which makes it a little bit more boring, I think. So I quite like this relaxed, laid-back nature where I can just talk about whatever. Do you play LMU? I think they sent me an email about the code. I haven't played it, to be honest, but they did send me an email giving me the code to play it, but I cannot remember. So I will just double check. But no, I haven't played it. But thanks for the donation there, John Farrer, 5632. I haven't really been playing many racing games here, given the fact that I do not have my steering wheel here. My steering wheel is back at my parents' house, and I'm currently here at university. So Rosberg gets away with saying a lot more compared to other commentators. That is correct, but of course that is because Rosberg is, an actual Formula One driver, won a championship, and he can pretty much say whatever he wants and he'd still make his way back to the Formula One paddock. So, yeah. Ocon has done more laps than the actual Spanish Grand Prix. Indeed he has. The actual Spanish Grand Prix is 66 laps, and Ocon has done more than that. Le Mans Ultimate. I think I've got Le Mans Ultimate on Steam, maybe. Let's have a look. Oh no, I don't. They sent me, or maybe they sent me Project Cars or something. I'm not sure. But no, I haven't played Le Mans Ultimate. Is it a good game? Would you recommend? Is there any actual good racing games? Because I know Project Cars 2 flopped a little bit. Oh no, not Project Cars 2. What was their new game called? Project Motorsport or something? It was a bit of a flop, but I'm not 100% certain. All right. Isaac Hadjar is the fastest. All right, GG. Congrats on Max winning his 5th title in 2026. Yeah, I'm maybe a little early to say that, but even then, no, good job there from Isaac Hadjar. Give it a run the next time you're back at home. Very good racing. Fair enough. Yeah, I think. I mean, typically, if you look at any other motorsport category apart from Formula One, there is always loads of really good racing. I mean, in MotoGP, there is incredible racing, and it seems so much more intense because you can see the drivers there. Whereas in Formula One, you can see the cars and you can just see their little helmet, but on MotoGP, you can see the drivers hanging off their bikes and things. It's pretty cool. iRacing is the most realistic game for racing itself. Yeah, but I think iRacing is just really expensive, isn't it? Did you see the Daytona 24? I remember seeing you in the chat at some point. I watched a little bit of it, but I didn't see the entire. Thing, mainly because I had to get some sleep. Crew Motofest 2. Is the Crew Motofest 2 different from the Crew 2? Because I definitely played the Crew 2 back on my, what was it, PlayStation maybe? Yeah. Assetto Corsa, yeah, I've got Assetto Corsa. And it is very good fun because there are just so many mods. Yeah. Forza, oh yeah, the new Forza Horizon. What is it? It's in Japan, no? The Forza Horizon 6. Yeah. I quite liked Forza Horizon 3. I played that a lot. And then Forza Horizon 4. Firstly, that intro music to Forza Horizon 4 is mega. And the game itself is actually quite nice as well. But I never played Forza Horizon 5. Mainly because, my Xbox is not here. Is the red flag still there? Why aren't the cars going out? Well, yeah, the red flag is still here. I would love to know why it is taking so long to clear up Liam Lawson's car, because he has not crashed. He has stopped on the side of the circuit. But, yeah, clearly a very long lunch break happening here. Ooh. Attempted start, anti-stalled, and he stopped. Yeah, apparently that's what it was. I do not know for certain, but either way, he's just stopped. You ever tried content creating? You seem rather good at it. Well, I guess this is content creating, but in terms of videos and stuff, no, I haven't really. So I would, I'd love to get some more time on my hands to do it. Yeah. It has been, how long has it been actually? It's been over an hour and 20 minutes, and Liam Lawson is still, well, we've still got a red flag. That's what it is. All right. But yeah, we've still, of course, still got 3 hours and 30 minutes remaining, so it's not the end of the world. Yeah. Please tell us the website. The website is, well, look, it's Timing71. It's like a Chrome extension or something. And then you need the right URL to put in, which you can Google. And according to the people in the chat, it's pretty easy to find. So go ahead and do that. Yeah. The marshals definitely did take a lunch break. However, the lunch break is overran by 20 minutes or so. So I don't really know. I got tickets to the sprint day and quali at Silverstone this year. Very excited. Oh, that's brilliant. No, that's a great circuit to watch quali and sprint and the sprint race at, because there's always quite a bit of action at Silverstone. And, well, given the British weather, it probably will be raining at some point as well. Are the safety marshals different for each track? I think they are, but they have to go through some sort of certification process. They've essentially got to say, I'm a marshal, I've got XYZ experience, I'm going to go through the safety training, what am I going to do in scenario 1, what am I going to do in scenario 2, and as long as all of the marshals have got the qualification, they're safe to be a marshal at the racetrack. Yeah, I'm going to China for the full weekend. Oh, brilliant. That is, So China's going to be a good race as well, right at the start of the season, so a lot of uncertainty and things like that. Definitely going to the Monza Grand Prix. Well, folks, let me know, actually, in the chat. It looks like we've got quite a few people here who are going to different racetracks and things like that. Why is there only 7 cars out on the track? Because only 7 cars are testing, 7 drivers. Everyone else is either not at the Barcelona circuit just yet, or they are never going to get to Barcelona in the case of Williams. Has Aston released their 2026 car yet? Well, I saw a powered by Honda sort of sticker on an Aston Martin car, but I can't tell you for certain if that is the new Aston Martin. Maybe they're just going to do the reveal at the track tomorrow itself. Yeah, not 100% certain, to be honest. But I don't think they did an official livery reveal. Might try to snag a Bahrain ticket. Yeah, I mean, honestly, watching pre-season testing, or even then, just going to see the car, see the track, listen to the noise and all of that, I think that'd be pretty cool. Williams 2019 be like, yeah, Williams did this exact thing in 2019, missed pre-season testing, or at least the first few days of it. Are they going out soon? I'd hope so. I would hope so. What's the link you're using on the Timing 71 website? I don't know if firstly, I don't actually remember it. And secondly, I don't know if I should be actually sharing this. So if you search Barcelona-Catalunya and then find it, Barcelona-Catalunya Timing 71, it should come up. Okay, I'm going to have a quick sip of water. Red flag because VCarb died? Yeah, that is correct. Oh, it might be. Okay, I'm not 100% certain, but in terms of these red flag things, it might be taking so long because there's potentially sort of electrical issues with the car. I know it definitely happened in the past with new regulations, with the new power units. There was a chance that the entire car could be electrified. So, like, if you went to touch the car, then you could get an electric shock or something. Of course, I'm not 100% certain if this is what has happened to VCAR, but this could be a potential explanation while we're here waiting, that they've got some sort of electrical fault that means that, if you touch the car, you're going to get an electric shock, which is obviously not what they want to do to the marshals, and hence maybe that's what's causing the problem. But again, total speculation. Move it with a stick, lol. Yeah. Love your channel. It's helped me a lot keeping up with F1 updates. Well, thank you very much. Thank you very, very much. Hope you guys are enjoying, yeah. All right. Let's see. Is there any sort of update in terms of anyone out on the track? Yeah, I don't really know. I don't know if anyone is out on the track or not. Your mic is so good. What brand is it? It is a Sennheiser E835. Yeah. It's pretty good. I got it secondhand actually. That's why it's got loads of I don't know if you can see, it's got loads of scratches and stuff on it, but it still works as a microphone, and it's got this perfect on-off switch, as you can see there, which makes it very easy for me to just turn on and off my my mic. F1 would you actually make money doing streams like this? Well, of course, from the donations, from channel memberships, I make money, and then at the start of the streams, there'll be an advert that plays, so that will, of course, give me a little bit of money. But yeah, it's not like a totally huge amount or anything like that. It is an XLR microphone, actually. Yes, it's I've got my XLR thingy here. Yeah. I do actually need to upgrade this if I'm going to get if I'm going to do the podcast with the F1 engineer, because this has only got one input, so I'm going to need to get one with two inputs, so then I can have another mic connected, and then we can do yeah, we can both talk. F1 Gamer, when you are commentating on the race or another session, are you listening to the official commentary at the same time? No, I have not got anything in my ears or anything listening to the official commentary. I used to do that, but sometimes it just gets a little bit too distracting when you're trying to think of, you've got this train of thinking of whatever you're talking about, and then you've got this like thing in your ear just like saying, oh, do they talk about something totally different. And I used to do it when I didn't have that many things to talk about. I wouldn't know what to talk about, but now, doing commentary for upwards of 5 years now, I've got a pretty decent idea of what to talk about and stuff like that. Why don't you turn ads on during the live streams? You got to make a living. You can do this full time. I mean, I could, but I personally wouldn't like to watch a live stream with adverts in it. I think quite often for today's stream there have been adverts coming up, so I do apologize for that. I will be continuing to block them, but essentially, it's sort of like in football, like if there's a penalty shootout, you don't want to advert just to pop up in the middle of it, and maybe in the same sort of thing in Formula One, but yeah, I don't know, maybe I could do it in between quali sessions or during the practice sessions, but not during the race. I'm not really sure, but for now it's all right, and I've got job interviews and stuff, so we will see. Yeah. Any new sponsors lined up for this year? With the season, your view counts can make a pretty penny. Wouldn't be nearly as bad as ads. Yes. No, I haven't really. I am going to talk with Surfshark VPN to try and get a sort of a better sponsorship deal, but haven't found any new sponsors. It'd be pretty cool if I got a like a water bottle sponsor. If BWD sponsored me, like the people that sponsor the Alpine team, they do water filtration systems, I think. That would be pretty awesome. I could get a chair sponsor, because right now I'm sat on a, you can't even see it really. Yeah, you can see I'm just sat on some random chair. But could get a chair sponsor, but yeah, I'm not really sure. to be honest, I'm a bit too busy doing my engineering degree and trying to pass my exams. So, yeah. I still don't know why this red flag is taking so long. It's now been 1 hour and 30 minutes since that red flag was called. You can do an ads during red flag. Yeah, I guess. I don't know. We'll see. What link are you using for Timing 71? I don't know if I can tell you, but it's pretty easy to find. You just I'm pretty sure even ChatGPT could tell you. Like it's yeah. Can you do a room tour while we wait? There really isn't much of a room to tour, to be honest. And the other problem is this webcam that I've got here is taped on. It's taped on with electrical tape, and it's pretty old electrical tape, which I have a feeling if I take off to show you my room, it's not going to tape back on, and then my webcam's going to be wobbling about. The other thing is my room's not particularly tidy, so no room tour today. But I've pretty much got a cupboard here, and my bed is there, as you can see by my duvet. And I've got a mirror there and a door there. It's not really all that cool. Any game closer to iRacing, which is a bit cheap, and I think Assetto course is not close to iRacing, so I'm not really sure. And to be honest, I haven't got the most sim racing experience. I think other people in the chat will have a better idea. It depends on what sort of cars you want to drive. So Assetto Corsa Competizione is pretty good for if you want to do GT3 cars. Really, really good, in fact, I think, for GT3. Le Mans will have good hypercar stuff. Automobilista 2 apparently has good Formula 1 stuff. I'm not 100% sure, but yeah. Will Cadillac finish in the top 7? Well, given that there are only 7 cars today, I think they will. Yeah. A little different thing. Have you played The Last of Us, God of War 4? I've played both of those games. Pure Gems, in fact, just finished The Last of Us. I haven't played The Last of Us. I have watched it, though. The series, I think, was quite nice. And, no, I haven't played either of the games, though. So, yeah. F1 Gamer, so are you going to use the data board for the rest of the season? No, we'll be switching back to the normal data board for the rest of we'll be switching away from this for the rest of the season. We'll be going back to the normal one. This is just for preseason testing. Oh yeah, R Factor 2 is pretty good as well, yeah. The Last of Us is one of the best storylines, yeah. Oh, in the season, not in preseason testing. That's a bit of a tough one. Sure, maybe why not? I think with 2 very competent drivers like Sergio Perez and Valtteri Bottas, I think they might just be able to finish in the top 7. Will I be streaming in the Bahrain test? Yes, I will. Why the red flag? Liam Lawson. That is, Liam Lawson, and then for whatever reason, they haven't been able to fix his car, so I can get him back out onto the racetrack. So that is why. But I don't really know why. I don't really know why it's taken so long. Oh, they might be delaying the afternoon session, actually. So I think that might be what's happening. They might delay. They might delay the afternoon session because of this crash or something. I'm not 100% certain. Yeah. But who knows really? Who knows? Visa Crash app. That's a pretty good one. I think I'm going to use that. We've of course got, they could be called Visa, Cash App, Red Bull Racing. They could be called Toro Rosso. They could be called AlphaTauri. They could be called Sugar Free Red Bull. They could also be called Minardi. What other names have we got for the AlphaTauri car? I'll be racing the Miami track in GTA 6. Yeah, I don't know when is GTA coming out. There's a supposed launch date. No, I don't actually know when it is. Oh, will F1 stream the Bahrain test? So I think Sky Sports is going to be streaming the Bahrain test 1 and 2. And then as of F1 TV, I think in the first test, Bahrain, they'll just be doing the final hour of commentary. And for the second test, they'll be doing all day of commentary. So, yeah. What are some niche F1... What are some niche F1 knowledge that you've picked up by being an F1 fan for so long? I don't know. Let's have a think. So, well, now I'm not going to be able to think of anything because you've just asked me that question. Whereas but let's give one. Oh, did you know that the wheel guns actually? No. For qualifying, so when it's a very hot circuit, wherever the drivers are driving, in preparation for qualifying, what they will do is they will put the driver's helmet on this table or whatever, and below the helmet they will put a bit of dry ice, and they'll put a fan that blows through and cools the entire helmet of the driver, just to make it a little bit more comfortable, so they're not sweating via their face while doing their quali laps. So in between quali sessions and things like that, whenever the helmet gets taken off, there's a bit of dry ice, and then they have a fan, of course, and that cools down the driver's helmet. Another thing would be, in fact, the pit stops for the wheel guns that the mechanics use to take off to unscrew the one nut and then take off the wheel and then put the next one back on. Those things are so sensitive and so sort of precisely designed that that in certain really hot races, what they do is they actually keep them in a cooled environment to make sure that when they go to do the pit stop, they aren't overheating and they haven't expanded too much, because it's such a tight fit. Because you've got to think about it, they are putting huge amounts of forces on this nut to spin it off in a matter of milliseconds. They have to have these really precise tight fits, and if it gets too hot, that precise fit isn't going to work because the metal will expand and whatever. So they keep the pit stop wheel guns in a temperature controlled environment. So I guess that's a bit of a niche fun fact that I guess most ordinary people wouldn't know. Yeah. Still red flag, yeah. I mean, maybe they've delayed it. I will do my best to find out if there's anything on Twitter suggesting that they've delayed it. But yeah, yeah, I'm not sure. F1 testing. Yeah, not exactly sure why it's taking so long. All right. I don't know if everyone posted the time or not. No, they haven't really posted much, so maybe we'll get the cars back out onto the track in 20 minutes' time. But it's been quite the wait. Are the wheel guns made by the team or provided to teams? Are there regs for that too? I think the wheel guns are provided by a different company. I'm not 100% certain, but I think that they are. Yeah. I don't think the teams will spend, you've got very a precious amount of engineering resources, and I guess the management and the sort of the leaders have got to decide, is it worth me using 3 of my engineers' design time for 1 month or whatever to come up with a really good wheel gun design, and that will cost us X amount of money, and we'll have to pay X amount of people to manufacture it and whatever? Or is it better that I can just use a little bit less money and then have my engineers free to do something else, and we'll just buy it from someone else? So that's something that goes on in terms of the cost cap. Yeah. Okay. All right, what's going on? I've just joined. The live timing is blocked, according to the German media. I guess we'll see. I mean, do you have a source for that so I can figure it out? But who knows? Yeah. All right. The German official sports channel. Okay, well, I don't know what that is, and I don't know how I'm going to get access to that as well. So, I guess we'll see. Yeah, who really knows? Lunch was really good. They've gone back for seconds and thirds. Is William cooked? Williams may be cooked. Yeah, Williams might be cooked. No, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised really if they realise that, oh, we've got access to the live timing data, and then they turn it off. But I'll just wait for confirmation from some sources which I can actually confirm, and then if they have blocked the live timing data and the cars are actually out on the track, then I'll probably have to end the stream, won't I? All right. But thank you everyone for tuning in. Hope you guys are all enjoying. Yeah. If you haven't hit the like button, be sure to do so. I don't really have that much to talk about. I would love to potentially play some F1 GeoGuessr. I don't know if I've got an account or anything. But who knows? Aston Martin launch confirmed for the 9th of... Okay. Well, that's good news. Aston Martin will be testing then. Or launching their car. Alrighty, what else have we got going on? Well, let's have a look at the laps then. We'll sort of do a bit of a run through. We've got Hadjar, who's done 44 laps, Kimi Antonelli 56 laps, Franco Colapinto 28 laps, Liam Lawson has done 42 laps before coming to a stop on the side of the circuit. Esteban Ocon has done 67 laps, Valtteri Bottas has done 33, and Bortoletto has done 27. Yeah. Quite good there. In terms of lap times, Hadjar's the quickest, a 1:18.8. Then we have Antonelli, a 1:20.7 from him. We've got Franco Colapinto, a 1:21.4. And then the rest of the drivers are around, well, you've got Lawson also a 1:21.8, and then the other drivers are all in the 1:24s. So about 3 seconds off that. All right. There's lots of people sharing it. They probably know by now. Yeah, I mean, I'm not too surprised really that if they do know. But I would have thought they would have had enough. If they really wanted to keep it private, it would have been pretty obvious to turn this off. But clearly, someone made a mistake. Alrighty. But who knows? Apparently, just a long lunch break by choice. Maybe. Michelle Foster M9 9 minutes ago. Apparently, there's no drama. Just a long lunch break by choice. Interesting. Well, they have got a long time to test, really. And the other thing is the teams have got very used to testing in a limited time frame. They in the past they of course had as much testing time as they would have wanted, but now because they've had to get used to the 2 hours or the 3 hours. Oh no, sorry, not the 2 hours, 3 hours. The 2 days or the 3 days that F1 gives them to test. They've compacted all of their processes and tried to make things as smooth and as streamlined as possible. And now this year they have got 3 days now in Barcelona to test. They've got 3 days in Bahrain for the first test, and then another 3 days. So I guess they can afford to take a bit of a break. Yeah. Specific reason for Ferrari's absence? No, most likely is that they weren't ready to take part today, because anyone with a reasonable amount of logic would have done Monday, Wednesday, Friday as their practice days, given that the weather is forecast to be okay for all of them. But yeah, Ferrari, for whatever reason, will not be taking part today. They'll be driving tomorrow. FII, cars are on track. The timer is offline for the rest of the shakedown. Oh, is it now? Well, I shall. I wish there was some way I could figure this out. If anyone has, sort of officially. Oh, okay, right. I see. There are a few people that have got access inside the garage that are sending photos saying that, they're allowed to. Oh no, this is definitely out of date. Yeah, who knows? Also, how are you able to know about the crash? I wasn't. He didn't crash. He stopped on the side of the circuit. And how do I know? Because there's someone sent an image of him stopped at the side of the circuit. So, yeah. Gasly's going to have PTSD when Horner purchased stakes in Alpine. Yeah, I mean, Alpine's a bit of an interesting team structure. There have been so many different people that own shares and parts of Alpine. And, it's very public figures will go and buy into it, which is pretty interesting to say the least. Not to my knowledge, has this been done before, where you have very public members like celebrities and stuff buying parts of a Formula One team? But yeah. Alrighty. But I'll have to see you in Bahrain. Yeah, it might be a Bahrain thing. I would not be surprised really, if they have blocked it. But let's wait and see. They did a long runs for aerodynamic tests. It was a hard tire. Well, see, this is the thing, that they'll be doing loads of different things in testing right now. So they'll have their huge aero rakes on the front of the car, on the rear of the car, trying to figure out, is the air doing what we expect it to do? Is the air, going in the right directions and things like that? And then they'll also be trying to work out, is the car generating as much downforce as we would have hoped? Is it generating less as we would have hoped? Now let's change the angle of the front wing ever so slightly. Is that going to affect things? Now let's change the angle of the rear wing ever so slightly. Is that going to affect things? So we do not know for certain. Yeah. Hi, nice to see you back again. You have been missed. Well, nice to see you guys back as well. I hope you guys are enjoying. Um, yeah, this has been an interesting preseason test to say the least. We haven't had all of the data and the numbers as we would have liked. However, I think that they are just going to. I think they'll probably close off access to this. Yeah, I'm not really surprised if they do. So. Just need to find a reliable source to say that they have shut it off, but we'll still wait around. Maybe they haven't, and all right. Still lunch, or did they stop sharing the data? There is unfortunately no way to know for certain. Um, yeah, yeah. Welcome back, F1 Gamer. Welcome back, guys, as well. Hope you are all enjoying. The data is still top secret. Well, yeah. I mean, this is ideally why I would have liked to keep it a secret, so then, loads of people wouldn't have found out about it. But I guess I'm streaming about it, so someone would have found out in the end. And yeah, even then, I didn't really know where I was going with that. Oh, yeah. Need to have some water, man. Did you make the t-shirts? I do have some samples, right? You know what? I'm going to turn off the webcam and just go get them, so we have some stuff to talk about. But I'll be back in just a second, folks. See, I was talking and I'm not talking to my mic, which is very smart of me. But essentially, this is the t-shirt. No, I can't show it off with one hand now. This is going really well. But oh, brilliant. Okay. What was I going to say? Oh yeah. So, like, I've tried out a bunch of different designs and stuff like that, and I've worn this t-shirt a bunch over the pre-season, over the off season, and essentially to make sure that all of these designs actually like stay on the t-shirts. So they don't just rub off, which is good. And yeah, let me show you the front. So this is the Slipstream. Oh, it's backwards. Okay, well, never mind. But this is the Slipstream logo, and there's a few other designs and stuff like that here. But yeah, so like I found a good t-shirt that works, that doesn't fade and things like that. So now it's time to actually make some good designs, and then get them shipping around the world. Yeah. Mercedes posted this, up and running, plenty of laps completed over to George for the afternoon session. Right, where did they post this? On Twitter, I'm guessing. Or is this on Instagram? It's probably Twitter. Let's have a look. Mercedes AMG F1 Protonus. Okay. Up and running, plenty of laps completed, over to George for the afternoon session. I mean, that still only shows Antonelli in the car, though. So George could still yet be go out. However, I think that he might also have gone out already. I guess we'll see. The data is blocked according to some sources. Cars are on track, right. Well, I guess it is what it is. If you could let me know, Lothith Gamer 79727, if you could where that source is, I will probably I'll probably end the stream, given that there isn't data to talk about. We've got no lap times. If we've got no lap times, then there's nothing to talk about. However, I do think that cars are probably on the track by now. There's no reason for them to sit in the garage for 2 hours doing absolutely nothing. So, F1 Gamer, I'm at the track right now. Williams just put the fastest lap of the day. Well, that's clearly a lie, because Williams aren't in Barcelona. They are still in the factory because their car has failed the crash test. JB Motorsports say that they block the data. All right. Okay, that's one. At least we saw some running. Yeah, I mean, it's good. We saw some lap times. We can see what to vaguely sort of expect. We did see some DNFs as well, of course. Liam Lawson, we saw stopping on the side of the circuit. We saw Bortoletto. We saw Franco Colapinto. So, yeah. Interesting to say the least. But it is what it is. Victor Abad. Okay, let's have a look. Oh, this is in a different language. Wait, let's see which. Right, okay. There we go then. No more timing updates. F1 has cut off the data feeds. Fair enough. I'm surprised it took them this long to cut it off, considering the amount of security they have at the circuit. Yeah. What were your thoughts with regards Williams not being there? Bad in the news. Yeah, it's not really amazing for the Williams team, let's put it this way, to start off the season so badly. So, yeah, apparently, allegedly overweight and also failing the crash test. That is not a good sign, because the other thing is, if you want to pass the crash test, you're going to have to add extra weight to reinforce your structure of the car, which makes the overweight problem even worse for them. So I guess we'll just have to. We'll have to wait and see really how it's going for the Williams team. Apparently George is taking over for Mercedes. Yeah, I expect that really to happen. But they have managed to turn off the data. So what I will probably do is just schedule in a stream for, most likely, I'm probably not going to be streaming tomorrow, guys, given the fact that, they have turned off the data. It's unlikely that they're going to turn it back on for tomorrow. And for that reason, it doesn't make any sense for me to be streaming tomorrow. Also, given that I've got an interview tomorrow, it would make a lot of sense for me to not stream. So, let me figure out when is the first day of the Bahrain test. That is the 11th of February. Right, so I'll set up a stream for the 11th of February. And then if you guys could just hit the like button on that, that'd be mega. But, yeah. Alrighty. Yeah, hope you guys have had a a nice winter break. This was a nice little insight into what's going on in Formula One as of right now. Of course, they weren't going to let it last forever, which is fair enough. But we will be live again for Bahrain, which will be brilliant to have. Looking forward to that. I will be commentating, of course, in Bahrain, which will have all of the data for. It will be allowed to have all of the data for, and I'll be doing all 3 days of the Bahrain test, all 3 days of the second Bahrain test. Yeah. So it should be pretty good. Okie dokes. Let me just change the thumbnail. All right. Yeah, I just need to set up a few things, and then I'll end the stream and send you over to the Bahrain testing stream. Okie dokes. Is this streaming? Well, no. Unfortunately, the data has been frozen via the FIA. So, yeah, 3 failed tests is pretty bad. 7 seconds slower as of right now, I think. Yes. The thing is, in the first day of testing, they will not even be anywhere near the maximum engine mode for the car. So I would not worry about that too much. We'll be getting quicker cars for sure. Yeah. 11th of February, 6:30 a.m. Okie dokes. If they run the data back, will you stream on Wednesday? Oh yeah, if the data is back again, like even after my interview tomorrow, I'll start the stream back up. And if the data is back at any point, I'll start streaming again. But of course, it doesn't make much sense for them to shut the data down and then be like, oh yeah, let's just turn it back on again, because why not? Yeah. So that has been that. It has been nice to catch up with you guys over the over what's gone on in the off season and things like that. Nice little insight into what's going on into 2026. Some issues definitely with the power units, as you can see. We had Bortoletto stopped on the circuit, Franco Colapinto and Liam Lawson. And that's Franco Colapinto with the Mercedes power unit. Just to clarify, the power unit that's supposedly the best power unit ever. That is that same power unit that stopped on the side of the circuit. And Williams has supposedly 30 kilograms too heavy and 3 failed crash tests, which is not ideal to say the least. That is about that. So we will see if any of the rumours get confirmed later on. But again, I don't really like talking about rumours too much, because mainly, the media are just bored and they're just stirring stuff up because they've got nothing else to talk about. And that's all really. So folks, it has been a great pleasure commentating to you guys for about, how long has it been? About 4 hours or so, has it? 3 hours, 30 minutes. It's been good fun commentating. I will be back commentating for Bahrain, of course. That's Bahrain Test 1, Day 1. I'll be there. So, hope you've all enjoyed, and I shall see you then. So what I'm going to do now, I'll end the stream. I'll take you over to the stream for the Bahrain commentary, and if you could hit the like button on that one, and the reminder button as well, really helps out the channel. I'll be there. I'll be live commentating, and it will be real good fun, and we'll get some more insight into what's going on in the world of Formula One. So I think that's all from me, yeah. We got 1,500 people tuned in. Just hit the like button on the next stream, and I shall see you all later. Bye-bye, folks.